Yo, 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 what are y'all feeling? How are y'all living, man? Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Wow. Oh, wow. I forgot. AC, it's hot. Thanks, twin. Wow, 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 wow. Welcome back to the stream, man. It is so good to see so many beautiful. What do you mean tie doesn't go well? It's fucking red and blue. What are you talking about? What? You mean tie doesn't go well? It's one of my best fits I've ever concocted. It's red and red and red. What are you talking about? What? This shit is fly, man. Welcome back to the stream. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We have a lot to get into today. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to cover. We finally are doing the Mando episode I've been waiting and looking forward to for a while. You can only do these guys so often. Okay? You can only do these guys so often. Every time we bring a Mando on, it's a banger, but you can only do it like every 3 weeks, every month, something like this. So we got Mando. Basically, the only guests I want to talk to at this point, we'll just do Mando, Good Alexander. We'll just go every 3 weeks on both of them and just ignore everybody else. Aren't they warm in the summer? Yeah, but beauty's pain, brother. I'm in here. I sweat. I get threadguy doing too much as usual. Yeah, you're Van Dyke. You know, it's like I get in here. I sweat, but at the end of the day, we're here to grind, man. So that is what it is. But look, we have a lot to cover today. We have a lot to get into. We have Mando. Spit the gum out. Sorry, disrespectful. We have Mando in like an hour and 20 or something. And Fred, why are you getting so hyped from Micron when you have no skin in the game? That's like saying, why are you getting so hyped for a Wemby MVP season when you're not a Spurs fan? It's like, it's good for the game. It's good for the sport, you know? It's good for the game. It's like, why are you so hyped? It's like, why are you so upset Bam Adebayo scored 83 when you're not short? And it's like, bro, because it's bad for the sport. You know? It's bad for the game, brother. So it's like if you're a bull, you don't even have to be a bull. I don't really believe that there's a such thing as a bear at heart, by the way. I think bears get bearish and they trade bearish PA. But you don't like the human nature is to be a bull. It's to root for American innovation. It's to root for capitalism. It's to root for the growth of companies and to root for innovation. That's like in our blood and our soul. Okay? And so even if you're a bear at heart, you want things to go up and to go well and to perform and to beat earnings and to go long and innovation to progress. It's like if you're a human in this world, you want things to progress. And so Micron having one of the best earnings ever is good for the game that we play every day. So I'm hype about Micron because I own other stuff or I want to buy other stuff on the long side. So that's why I'm hype about Micron when I don't own any. I probably should own some. It's crazy. I still have a line on the chart that says threadguy enters with a little at $600, bro. It did a clean 2x. Do you remember that when I came in and I bought Micron at 600 and it rips a clean 2x? It's crazy. But anyways, it is what it is. Bro, you're dope at streaming. Found you from a mitt. You're on YouTube though, brother. Felipe in Thailand. If you're on YouTube and Twitter, you like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. Let's do a roll call. Let's get started. Houdini, what's good? Devin, what's good? Fungible, what's good? Screwy, what is good? Thinking USD, what is good? We are all getting girlfriends, baby. Devin, what's good? Doctor, Firsch, Mickley, Beef, Jackson, Wolfie, Caleb, Seth, Pudgy, Sparky, Clayboy, Cardi, Sneak, Art Mommy, Gerlin, what's good? Rockefeller, what's good? Shifty, Viblet, Caleb, what is good? Rectal, what is good? Whitey, how to go with that swipe up? I'm a volume scorer, okay? I'm like I'm a microwave scorer. I get better the more shots that I take. That's how my swipe up went. Clayboy Cardi might be the best name on here. Thinking USD. I did call him my #1 fan yesterday. That was crazy. That was out of pocket, low key. You are, but it was still crazy. J-Man, what's good? Crypto, what's good? Benny, what's good? Bitcoin. Lately I've seen many very bad takes from you on Bitcoin will not age well. I mean, I'm going to save some of the Bitcoin stuff for Mando to come on. I am a Bitcoin maximalist through and through. I love Bitcoin. I know I just made a bull post on Bitcoin, by the way. I love Bitcoin through and through, but it just has problem. It's just fundamentally not that interesting as an investment right now. It's not. And you could call me a chaser or like chasing the hot ball of the money or only excited about the new thing or whatever. But the reality of the situation is the new thing has been outperforming. If you haven't been trading the new thing, the new bottleneck, you're underperforming. And so look, I'll wait. I want to watch this video. This Bitcoin. I have a section called Bitcoin Bottom Cope, and we're gonna watch it. And I'll give you some takes because I do think we're relatively near peak fear, but peak fear doesn't mean bottom price. Two things are not the same. And why is it not interesting now if it's down 50%? Because the thing about going down 50% is you can go down another 50%. You know, I'm not really a bot. I don't like to make predictions on buying bottoms or like playing what's next. I think you only really have to do that once. A great on-chain trader told me this one time, and I asked him, like, it was after Believe Coin and on-chain was dead. I asked him, like, what do you think is next? And he said, Threadguy, I'm not in the game of predictions. I've made enough money. You only have to be in the game of predictions and get it right once. And then after that, you can just let it play out. You could see the price action evolve. You could see things pick up, and then you could just tail it. You can get in inning 3, you can get off inning 7, and there's no real reason to be on 1 and 2 or 8 and 9. And I'm kind of down with that framework. And so I don't need to be the guy. Like, you know, here's the truth. Is that social media really like everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to be the guy to bink the bottom on a dead asset. Everybody wants to be Burry trying to snipe Lululemon. Like everyone wants to be the guy to bink the bottom and do it publicly. But the reality situation is most of the money is made on just buying the consensus thing. Like things are consensus because they generally work. And so I don't know. I don't find that much glory in being the guy to buy the like random. It's like cool and it's aesthetic and it looks good. It shows good, but it's not really my game. I don't buy distressed assets that are not getting attention paid to and be the guy to like back up the truck and bink the bottom. So I like to buy high, sell higher, or buy high, sell low when it goes the wrong way. So, all right, we have a lot to talk about. I got a couple intro stuff that I would like to cover. First and foremost, I saw this video yesterday, and this is I'm just gonna put you on game real quick. You want to get put on game real quick? I'll put you on game real quick. Spark the Telegram. All right, I'll put you on game really quick. I'm gonna give those some lore real quick. It's my favorite YouTuber right now. I'm just gonna give you game because why not? I feel like y'all deserve some game. Markets are rough. I'll just give it to you right now. Paulie Walnuts, if you know who this is. My favorite YouTuber right now. Best YouTuber in the whole game right now. Paulie Walnuts. Best YouTuber in the whole game. In the game. And he gave this take yesterday on this video. And he said 2016 was like the industrial revolution for degeneracy. And I think it's one of the best takes that I've ever heard, bro. It's one of the best takes that I've ever heard. And I think the 2016 era of high schoolers started this new wave or really perpetrated this new wave of pure degeneracy. Like weed pens, jewels. It's the Zen era. It's the vape era. It's the online casino era. It's the pump fund era. It's the crypto era. It's the Robinhood era. It's the ZERP era. It's the COVID era. It's the stimulus check era. It's the NFTs era. It's the sneaker hypebeast era. It's like the prime 2K era. It's the prime GTA Online role-playing era. It's the Pokemon card era. It's the Andrew Tate era. It's the online college era. It's the dropout of college era. It's the Klarna buy now, pay later era. It's the Uber Eats and food delivery era. It's the WeWork era. It's the Snapchat era. It's the Twitch era. It's the TikTok era. Okay? Yeah. It's also the back end of the AI era. It's the drop shipping era. It's the online hustle era. And that is the cohort that is like 18 to, yeah, SoundCloud era. Thank you. That is, it's OnlyFans era, Twitter era, making money on the internet era, and it's the threadguy era. And that is the cohort that's like the gooning as a whole, like prime gooning era. That is the cohort right now that is like 18 to 26, if you will. I think it's like 18 to 26 right now. And that is the era that is coming into money, power, status, influence, financial power, CEOs. This is the era that's coming in charge. Okay? This is the era that is like coming in charge of the world right now. And if you understand that 2016 was the industrial revolution for degeneracy, you understand why markets are starting to trade the way that they are. You got to consider all the factors. You got to consider who is in charge and who's making the decisions. And when you understand that, it all makes sense. To me, it all makes sense. You get it. It all started with the first time somebody handed me a mint jewel pod, and then everything else is just downstream of that. Society right now is just downstream of the first time I ever held a mint jewel pod. Okay, and it's very important that you understand this is where we're at right now. What is a jewel? You're joking. So, anyways, on that note, let's get into some intro stuff. First and foremost, that era is evolving. Okay, that era is evolving, and the thing that they're doing is they're going outside. I feel like every day, I'm not even looking for these announcements. I'm not even looking for these posts. Okay, but everywhere I go, I see some new IRL movement, some new niche little hobby that's getting traction everywhere I look on Twitter. And the one right now is underground Beyblade leagues that started to appear in tattoo shops, parks, and malls across Asia. Our one tattoo parlor in Hong Kong has even started closing early to host community tournaments. Here's the way I think about it. Okay, Beyblade tournaments are going viral. Okay, I talked about this yesterday, but in this post AI algorithm era where everyone is fed the same feed with the same ideas and the same taste and the same fashion and the same posts and the same hobbies, everyone gets the same content in this program with the same stuff. A premium goes to niche, weird hobbies that everybody else doesn't do. Okay, if you do something that everybody else doesn't do, you just become cool. Okay, in many ways, we saw this with Pokemon cards early in the trend. In many ways, we're seeing this with the hacky sacks. In many ways, we're seeing this with right here with Beyblades. You're seeing it with run clubs. You're seeing it with like rock climbing. People are knitting, bird watching, whatever. Anyone that has some niche hobby that is the opposite of what everybody else is doing is just baseline cool. It just becomes cool if you're doing what everybody else is not doing. Beyblades is one of those. Okay, and I'm reminded of this tweet right here. Here. The bar for cool now is so low, nobody knows themselves. People use wired headphones thinking they're niche. People let other people tell them what drinks they like. Everyone is performing. If you simply live your life authentically, people will copy and worship you. Nobody wants to have taste. Having taste is hard. It's like takes effort to develop taste. Because I don't think you're born with taste. I think you develop taste. It's like when you're a kid. It's like when you're a kid and you like hate spicy food and then you start to like spicy food because you develop your taste and you try cuisines and you travel. You're not like born with taste. Okay, you don't just like get handed taste by God. You have to sort of discover it, and it's hard to have taste because it's like different, and you have to opt out. You have to put effort into having taste, and so the AI algorithm makes it really easy to not. You don't have to opt. You could just opt in and just wear the same stuff, do what everybody else does, watch what everybody else watches, hang out where everybody else hangs out, and so I think you get a hyper premium on this. Is why the IRL stuff is hot right now. is it requires you to go outside and discover some shit and like try to be cool. And so fuck it, I'm down for like, man, I feel like, you know, this YouTuber I mentioned talked about in this video. This is the exact take he gave. Is 5 years ago, if I walked into like a hobby store and there were 50 kids playing a Magic the Gathering like card tournament, I would walk in there and be like, look, what are these fucking nerds doing? Now, if I walked into a hobby store and there's 50 people ripping a Magic the Gathering tournament, I have FOMO actually, because I'm like, damn, what do they know that I don't know? What do they like? What? This is sick. This is fresh. I haven't seen a Magic the Gathering tournament forever. It's fresh. It's cool. It's new. And so that's my take. IRL is so back. I see it every day. I'm not even trying to find it. I'm not trying to find it. I see it everywhere. So that's number one. The bar for cool. I love this take. Yeah, this is the longer article. By the way, Beyblades was never cool. Just gonna throw that out there as well. It was always Bakugan, Pokemon. Beyblades was never really like a thing in where I'm from. But let me just, yeah. Now that I already got the clip and it's good for TikTok, it was never really a thing. Pokemon G-Shock's coming out. I'll be buying the fuck out of these. Not that interesting. On Nordstrom, GLP-1s. Okay. On the topic of IRL is back as well. The sports league hype, I think, is just always going to be up only as well. Blue Owl, which is the private credit firm that is, I don't know, ready to blow up, is ready to buy the Cavs. Also, LaMelo Ball to Minnesota is awesome, but they're ready to buy the Cavs. And then this group of Chicago investors are trying to convince Chicago Bears, who are trying to move to Indiana, to stay in Chicago, which is nuts. Why would you go to Indiana? But you know what's funny is every time you see some discussions about buying a sports league, it's always the finance guys. It's always the finance guys. You really think about it, maybe this is common knowledge and everybody knew this, but the finance bros actually run the world. They actually run the world. Every big purchase is driven by the finance guys. Every big purchase is driven by the finance guys. Everything. Every major sports league, every naming right, every new building, every new city is driven by the finance guys. They just control all of the wealth. And so it's no wonder stocks just go up. American stocks go up only. They just control all of the wealth. It's insane. Chamath owns the squad owns the Warriors. It's like the athletes have money, but the finance bros have money. Okay, you always hear about a former athlete taking like A-Rod takes a minority stake in the Timberwolves, and then it's like Steve Cohen like buys the Timberwolves. It's funny how that works. Okay, also on AI psychosis, I couldn't believe this headline that I read today. This is an extremely weird trend. Apps that resemble food delivery apps, except they don't deliver the food. They just provide the satisfying dopamine hit of getting to scroll food options and clicking a buy button that doesn't do anything. This is popular in South Korea. And so I'm sitting here thinking about it last night as I'm reading this, and I'm wondering, like, you know, how could you possibly be so fried? As I sit down to eat my dinner, I pull up my phone, I open the World Cup. Who's playing? Haiti and Morocco. And I watched 3 minutes, and without even thinking, I swipe up, I close it, I open TikTok, and I start scrolling soccer edits because it wasn't enough dopamine. And I realized in that moment, wow, we have a problem. Dude, I stopped watching the World Cup so I could watch World Cup edits. It was wild. Seriously, it was wild. Subconsciously, like my thumbs took over my body. I was not controlling my body. And I'm watching the World Cup. I swipe up, I close it, I open TikTok, and I scroll World Cup edits. I'm scrolling like Hakimi edits instead of watching Morocco, who's playing and has 3 goals. They have they have 3 goals. It's like it's the best game of the whole World Cup. And I'm watching TikTok. I'm watching soccer edits on my TikTok. And I said to Malcolm, I need to figure out how to rewire that. We've got to rewire this. I've got to rewire this, but I don't entirely know how to do it. If anyone has any advice, I'm all for it. But I've got to rewire this. I've got to rewire this, but I don't really know how to do it. Because it's also like the way to rewire it is to get off the internet. But in order to get off the internet, you need money. And in order to get money, you have to be on the internet. It's this very weird problem that we have created for ourselves when the only way to make money is on the internet. But the only way to get off the internet is to get money. And it's like this like push-pull situation that makes it very difficult. But luckily we have fun here. All right, let's move on. We got some fun topics. First of all, let's start with you should have a philosopher come on instead of a trader next stream. You know what I want to bring on? A performance coach. Do you guys know about these things? A performance coach? Apparently a lot of traders have a performance coach. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I thought about it the other day. I'm like, what if I just got a performance coach? And we brought one of those on. And like not Tony Robbins. I don't want him to like yell at me. I more so want him to hear me out and like give me sound advice, you know? I thought about the performance coach thing. Maybe we'll bring one on at some point. But all right, let's get into some topics. First and foremost, a little trade one or should we just do a quick market scroll? We got problems right now. Let's do a quick market scroll and let's get into some topics. First and foremost, degen ping would be cool. First and foremost, Bitcoin's under 60, stretches 77. MSTR is 86 and horrid. Okay. The SPY is flat on the day. Pretty nasty candle. SPX is flat. NASDAQ is down 1.2. IGV down 1.3. The IBB looks unbelievable. The SOX is up 3%. Micron made an all-time high, but it's down a little bit. And there's nothing else super. SanDisk looks unbelievable. BlackBerry had a crushing earnings. And there isn't that much else to write home about. But there is one stock I want to talk about to start, which is Costco. If you look at this, chart looks pretty good. Easy tweeted this, and I loved it. 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 Went on Reddit to find posts about Wendy's and also found an incredible bull thesis for Costco. Okay. Bought 40K in Costco calls because of something I noticed at my local Costco, and I need you to hear me out before you say anything. I know, just read it. I go to Costco every other Sunday. Same time, same parking spot, third row from the entrance. Not because I can't walk, because the first two rows are for people who value their time more than I value mine, and I've made a decision about that. It's ridiculous open. Last Sunday, I had to park in the fourth row. I've been going to this Costco for 4 years, and I have never parked in the fourth row. Not once. Before you say it was just a busy Sunday, I need you to understand that I know what a busy Sunday looks like, and this was not that. These were different people, new people who do not have an established row. I went inside, and I could see it happening in real time. Costco was acquiring new customers while I was standing there watching. I saw the man in a Patagonia vest trying to figure out where the carts go. He didn't know where the carts go. He was new. I bought a hot dog and stood there and thought about what it means when a place that everyone already goes to starts getting people who didn't go there before. Then I looked at a photo I took of the hot dog, and in the background you could see the parking lot, and I compared it to photos from previous Sundays, and it's not the same parking lot. The density is different. Something has shifted, and it shifted recently, and I only noticed because I had to park in the fourth row. I don't know how to put this into a spreadsheet. I just know what it feels like. Position, Costco $620, $1,000 call, 11 of them, average $3.60. Bought them in the fourth row on my phone because I started the car. This is either going to make complete sense or I'm going to have to start parking in the fifth row. Okay. I thought it was satire when I read this. Okay. And then I saw Easy quote tweet it, and he says, if this isn't a Chris Camillo ass trade, I don't know what is. And then I scrolled down, and he goes, yes, a few social arb traders from Dumb Money TV caught it. I missed it. And I'm like, wait, what? This is real? People are actually trading this. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, we're going to market. Is this, it's down 1.25%. Is this not just the World Cup? Is this not just a fleet of foreigners have entered America for the World Cup and they're going to Costco? Or is Costco actually taking off right now? Okay. And then I looked up at this Costco forward PE. And I realized it has a 45x forward PE, which is, I mean, it's like a tech stock. It's like a big tech stock. It's expensive as fuck, which is insane. And so then I'm starting to figure out, okay, wait. Costco has a membership. Do you need a membership to go into Costco? And yes, you don't technically need one, but you have limited options. And I'm like, what does that even, what do you mean you have limit? I've never heard of a store that you need a membership to enter. You remember that video, by the way, where the guy like shows this girl his like Costco membership and she like, yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna mark it right here as the Costco entry. But I don't know. I guess I am naive. But I did not realize that Costco was popping like this. And so then I'm reading this. Let's keep going, I guess, because why not, right? Then I'm reading this. And there's an article about how Costco is one in Japan. Yeah, like my mom took me, but I didn't realize she was ripping a membership. Mom, you have a membership to Costco? Two incredible things happened at Costco in the final week of 2024. In Canada, I went to shop there on a Sunday and was somehow able to find a parking spot in less than 34 minutes. In Japan, they opened a new warehouse. There was a 5-hour-long car line just to park in the lot, another 3.5-hour wait just to get in the building. What? Japan is the largest Costco market outside of North America. Bro, 5-hour line to get parking to go to Costco. What are you talking about? What? It's yeah, this is, I was reading this, I couldn't believe it. First Costco opened in Seattle in 1983. What are you doing at Costco? Why is it so popular? It's, yeah, oh my God. It takes 30 minutes to get gas at a Costco? Seriously? What's up with the return? Why is Costco so popular? I don't get it. Unique membership model. It allows you to offer aggressively low prices and high quality bulk goods. How do they make money? How much is a membership? You can return a 4-year-old bed? What are you talking about? What do you mean you can return a 4-year-old bed? $65 per year. Hold on. ChatGPT. Hold on. How do you not know this, brother? I don't really grocery shop like that much. I don't do it at Costco. Like I grocery shop for myself. Like I feel like if I had a family, that sounded crazy. I feel like if I had a family and like kids and shit, I would go to Costco. But I don't. I saw a video in the news of a guy talking how he lives off Costco samples. Um, How much is a Costco membership and why do they sell so many? This is nuts. Executive is $130 a year, 2% back on most Costco purchases. They sell memberships. It's the profit engine. They sell many products at razor thin margin. A large portion of operating profit comes from membership fees. And all the membership does is get 2% back. Oh, but you have to shop there. My membership is $125 and it pays for itself. Holy fuck. Why is the forward P so high? I bought my engagement ring from Costco. Really? What? Are you trolling? What? They sell engagement rings? Brother, huh? I thought they just sold, I'm gonna be honest, I thought they just sold those giant like chip boxes. Dog. What are we doing? This is sick. It's 20. You're telling me that this is in the store. $25,000 ring from Costco. Holy shit. I'm trying to get a Costco membership. They sold tech or no? Computers? Wow. Wait, hold on. Wait. Does anyone here hold Costco stock? This is kind of your IRL trade. No, brother. I've been to Costco. I didn't buy an engagement ring, but obviously I've been to Costco. My mom used to take me. I used to eat dinner and off samples.
You might think that Costco is your average retailer, but it's not. The Everything in Bulk store sells cleaning supplies, jeans, pet food, and anything in between, but Costco doesn't actually make money on the merchandise it sells. In this video, we're going to break down exactly where the cash really comes from for Costco. According to the company's 2018 results, it sold $138 billion in merchandise. That's a lot of Kirkland brand trail mix and
I buy my gold bars at Costco slightly discounted.
Discount prescription glasses. The products they sold cost the company $123 billion, leaving $15 billion for the business. But wait, we still have to account for all the company's retail employees, pallet trucks, and store overhead expenses that enable Costco.
Wow. Dude, you wait. Costco CEO says he would rather die than raise hot dog price. Wait, what was this? The legendary threat regarding the famous $1.50 hot dog and soda combo actually came from the Costco co-founder, Jim Senegal, who once blatantly told a former CEO, if you raise the price of the fucking hot dog, I will kill you. Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. I had no idea about Costco. I did not know. What about IKEA? What about IKEA? Costco got to be topped on this combo I'm shorting? Dude, I'm like a marginal buyer. I didn't even know about Costco. What do you mean it's topped? You want to know my biggest pet peeve is with IKEA? I'm just going to tell you right now. My biggest pet peeve with fast furniture broadly, especially Amazon furniture. All right, actually, give me an answer on this. Okay, so I buy a desk. No, I bought a nightstand the other day from Amazon. It's like $100 nightstand. I've been living in this house for 6 months. I don't have a fucking nightstand. I just have a bed on the floor in my room. Big room, bed on the floor. I order a nightstand. The nightstand comes in 75 pieces. And I open this box and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Seriously? I would pay double the price to not have to build it. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and everyone's gonna make fun of me. Oh, assemble it, Everyone, you're gonna laugh. Yeah, get it out. Get your fucking jokes out. Get it out. Get your jokes out. Okay. But I'm looking at this nightstand. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And then I'm wondering to myself, all right, what percent of wood furniture that gets ordered on Amazon and IKEA and these other places just outright does not get built? How much money does Amazon make shipping furniture that never gets built? I would argue it's substantial. It's a large number. Like it's not zero. It is not zero. You know why I know it's not zero? Because it's sitting in my fucking room in a box, brother. It's sitting in the box in my room. It's sitting there. It's been there for 2 months. Just sitting there. Fucking sitting there. I'm not supposed to cuss anymore, but it's sitting there. It's freaking sitting there. Okay, it's sitting there. I have no nightstand, and my phone goes on the floor, and the charger doesn't reach. It's a joke. Anyways, last thing on Costco. Costco is the best place to work for non-college grads. They make 160 to 300K to manage an apartment. What are you talking about? 300K to do what? What are you talking about? Wow, I'm into this Costco thing big time. I am really into this. Wow, it's a $420 billion company. They sell peptides or no? They have a pharmacy. They have a pharmacy. Stop. No, you're kidding. You've got to be kidding. No. No. No way. Do they sell Costco brand drugs? No. You take your dog to the Costco vet? Stop. Okay, I was about to fucking lose it if that was the case. Dude, if they had a vet, I was going to lose it. I was going to lose it if they had a vet. All right, we got to move on. But, dude, all I know is they have the samples. And the samples, once you go for the Kroger as a pharmacy, I used to rep Kroger in Richmond. If you're from Richmond, you know. God, I have a lot of topics to get through, and they have a car mechanic. Stop. All right, we're just trolling me now. That's unbelievable. I did not. I apologize, Costco. Someone says my goat is useless in the YouTube chat.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom! Boom!
Wait. 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 When roughly would you say that Costco guys started popping off? Date-wise. Hold on. You're not going to like what this is going to say, by the way. You're really not going to like what this says. Not the Costco executives. You're not going to like what this tells you. All right. First hit. Let's go. February 24 is fair. You're not going to like what this says, I don't think. Oh, no. You are not going to like what this says. Wow. $56% in a straight fucking line on the Costco guys. All right, we gotta focus.
Oh, we're so sorry.
Wow, you can make money on absolutely anything. You can make money on absolutely anything, and I'm glad you enjoyed the Costco segment, which is supposed to be 5 minutes. It was 20. Now we're really behind everything. All right, GTA 6 new announcement come out. Let's check. Came out. Let's check the price. TTWO, yeah. I've seen enough get it on HL. I think it is, dude. Yeah, it is. Oh. This has no volume. It's 250K OI. It is though. So GTA 6 just came out with the new up announcement or some sort. It's up about 1% today. I don't even know why I'm reading that. So I guess people are just complaining that online will be sold separately. Did anyone pre-order it yet? So Take-Two booked 6.76 billion last fiscal year. 78% of it came from recurring spending rather than game sales. Shark cards, GTA Plus, microtransactions. The one-time disc purchase stopped driving the P&L a long time ago. By the way, the other thing that came from the 2016 Industrial Revolution era of degeneracy is in-app purchases. I grew up on in-app purchases. I, on many occasions, spent very large amounts of money on my mom's credit card with in-app purchases. Yeah, I've had a couple moments where we had some very tense conversations in the house when I was in 6th grade because I wanted to get Dark Elixir. Yeah, my mom's in the chat. Dark days. I wanted to get Dark Elixir on Clash of Clans, and I needed it now, and it was rough. Okay, color me surprised. GTA Online still clears an estimated $1 million a day. 12 years after launch, roughly 500 million a year. One online mode out earns most entire studios. That's crazy. So when the storefront stamps GTA 6, a single player experience, and walks online out of the November launch, read it as a pricing move. The $80 campaign is the on-ramp. This is such AI slop. The decade of revenue lives in on. Dude, you know what my mom made me do, by the way? She made me fucking. I can't cuss anymore. She made me sell my sneaker collection, bro. It was crazy. It was deserving. But they made me sell my sneaker collection. It was so dark. Oh my God. I was actually thinking about this last night. What happened to my sneakers? They sold them to buy Madden Mobile bucks. It was so fucked. It was so cooked, man. It was out of hand. It was out of hand. I had to take out the trash and sell my sneaker collection. Bank of America already built a spreadsheet. They modeled GTA Online at $2.2 billion in bookings by fiscal 2028, assuming $60 of annual spend per active player. That only pencils out if online ships price and runs a standalone service instead of a free mode bolted onto a story. This is just slop. Who posted this? How did this go viral? How did this make it on my stream doc? Anyways, I haven't taken the Take-Two trade. It's probably a good one, and I'm interested in it, but it feels like it's a long way away, and a lot of stuff could change. But I am definitely open to entering this at some stage. You swear it will be woke? You know, I think that it launched with the right tailwinds where it's not going to be. Like, it caught enough time. It also is the opposite of the IRL thesis. It is. But video games, I think, are largely bottomed. I would argue video games are largely bottomed. When was the last time we had a society? I mean, we really haven't had a societal movement for video games since COVID. Fortnite COVID was lit. What percentage of players do you think stay on 5 versus migrate to 6? Everybody migrates to 6. You don't stay on 5. Are you nuts? The game's like 12. I remember I remember crying. Here, it's just gonna be a lore stream. I remember crying to my parents to let me get GTA 5 when I was in like 6th grade, and they wouldn't let me because there was a strip club in the game. I was in 5th grade or whatever. My dad was the final ruling. He said no way. So I go to my friend's house and I'll play it. It's so old. I mean, it's too old. Obviously, everyone's moving to 6. And by the way, I don't think the ticket price is that bad at all. $80 for the game. I'm shocked it's that cheap. Yeah, I've been playing GTA 5 since I was 9 years old, just turned 22. Yeah, I feel like I've been playing GTA 5. I feel like I played it for the first time when I was like 10. I'm surprised the game isn't 200, 250 plus, all things considered, because it's going to rack up in-game purchases. It's going to be crazy. So that's Take-Two. All right, moving on. We had this conversation the other day about luxury being dead, and I didn't have a great take for you. Are they creating a crypto for in-game currency? No way. There is no way there will be. I think almost a 0% chance there's crypto in GTA 6. There's no way. It's too risky. They're gonna make $500 billion. They make $1 million a day right now on GTA 5. They will probably make $10 million a day in perpetuity on GTA 6 for the next decade. They don't need crypto. There's no way. Absolutely no. It's the biggest brand risk ever for a company like this. It's too big. There's no way. Absolutely no way. No way. All right. I'm gonna make this one quick, but it's important. We had this segment the other day where I was talking about, LVMH being dead, and the take was like luxury is dead. And I didn't have a great rebuttal for you other than luxury is dead. My counter for what is cool, I said, was being hot and wearing an Apple Watch and an Oura Ring. Now, in many ways, being hot is always cool. Like being hot was out of style for 2 years during this weird era in COVID, and that was it. It was actually out of style. But being hot is always cool. But I'm looking around at what are the cool people like rocking. What is the new luxury? And the thing that makes it onto the dock every day, is these SK Hynix vests are on the dock every day. All anybody wants is SK Hynix. Think about it. What do the cool kids wear? They wear SK Hynix. They wear Jane Street logos. They wear FTX risk management. Think about it. They wear Citadel in like an ironic, but in a serious way. Like if I had a Jane Street photo tee, I would rep the ever-loving shit out of a Jane Street photo tee. Okay? And so you gotta think. You gotta look at this chart. Okay? On the death of luxury. I have two, just bear with me on this. I have two lines. One of these lines is LVMH. The other line on this chart is SK Hynix. Now, all I'm saying is SK Hynix merch, Samsung merch, Jane Street merch, Citadel merch is becoming the freshest, hottest trend while luxury brands are actually dying. Okay? You see it in the chart. Look at the disparity. Now I know AI bottleneck, You see it in the chart though. Okay? I think the trend is now becoming, it's not luxury, like what is the most expensive handbag you can own? Or what is the most expensive t-shirt or like the freshest luxury brand you can buy? But luxury is what are you working on right now? What are you working on? What are you working on? And I guarantee you, if I see a kid walking around in a Jane Street polo, I am stopping what I'm doing and I'm talking to him. I think that's the new status. What are you working on? Now, is it a little bit dystopian? Is it a little bit cringe? Is it a little bit everything in between? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. What are you working on as the new luxury? Why else would you wear an SK Hynix? Dude, what do all the cool people in Hyperliquid or in crypto wear? They wear Hyperliquid. Dude, I got on a call the other day with one of the guys from the Hyperdash team. Super fresh, by the way. Fresh guy, good looking, good shit. I hope he's not watching. Fresh, good looking, and good shape, cool guy. And he's wearing a Hyperliquid hat. I'm thinking to myself, that thing is fresh as hell. Fresh as hell. Brother, stop. You know what's replaced Louis Vuitton? Palantir hoodies. Palantir hoodies replaced Louis Vuitton. You know what replaced Prada? There's no way you're telling me. You know what replaced Supreme? What do you mean delete yourself? You know what replaced Supreme is the OpenAI lookbook. Brother, the OpenAI lookbook. It's not about everyday people. It's always if you know, you know. It's always if you know, you know. Palantir merch is the new if you know, you know. BlackRock merch, like the ironic but serious, but it's like a signal. Think about it. The whole game is signaling. And so think about it. Hold on. Watch. I own this hoodie. Okay? Wait. I own this hoodie. Okay? Everybody else bought it. Everybody else bought it, but I own this hoodie. Okay. BlackRock, OpenAI, Berkshire Hathaway, Palantir, Lockheed Martin. I own this hoodie. I wear this hoodie for the same reason I would walk around in a pair of Black Cat Jordan 4s. Okay. No girl, no adult, no corporate guy. Nobody knows what Black Cat Jordan 4s are except for this little niche, small community that's diehard about sneakers. You're signaling for them. You're not wearing it for anybody else. You're not wearing it because you look good. You're wearing it to signal. And so when I walk around with a BlackRock, OpenAI, Berkshire, Palantir, Lockheed Martin hoodie, I'm signaling for the tech bros and for the people that are in my niche that I'm cool. I get it. I know ball. For the same reason you would wear Jordan 4s, for the same reason you would wear Prada glasses. Nobody else even knows what you're wearing. No one knows what you're wearing, bro. Nobody knows what you're wearing. No one has any idea what your Jordans are. They don't know about your Louboutins. Nobody knows. It's just pure signaling. And so the new luxury is, what are you working on? It's what are you working on? And if you disagree, you're just wrong. Why else would you wear a Palantir hoodie? Why else would you wear a Palantir so you can signal to other grown men? It's just the way it's you know what percentage of consumer behavior is grown men buying stuff to signal for other grown men and grown women buying stuff to signal for other grown women? Okay? I don't know what your earrings are. I don't know what your bracelet is or what banana rub. I don't know what you're wearing, okay? But the other women do and the other men do. It's a fact. If you disagree with, you're wrong, okay? Luxury didn't die. It just got it got more niched, got more pigeonholed, okay? And so when I'm wearing my Palantir hoodie, I'm wearing it for other men to recognize that I'm in their, I know ball, I'm in their domain, okay? Like what's, all right, let me ask you a question. What is the most popular male luxury brand? Let me ask you a question. Most popular male luxury brand for men. What do you got? What's the most popular male luxury brand? Chrome. There you go. Chrome Hearts. Thank you. Okay. Let's do a little. Okay. Why would I, as a man, walk around in this? Why would you wear it? Like, why would you as a man walk around in this? You're really doing it for other men. You're like signaling wealth, IYKYK. There is no female gaze coming from this hoodie. I promise you. There is no female gaze coming from this hoodie. You're signaling to people that you got internet money. That's what you're doing. You wear this hoodie and you're signaling to people you got internet money. I'm internet cool. I'm with the trend. I get it. You're doing it for other men to be like, yo, your hoodie's fresh. Okay? Your hoodie's fresh. It's the same reason you would wear this. The same reason. Except the squad that's gonna clock it is probably cooler. The person that's gonna stop you for the Palantir hoodie is way cooler than the person gonna stop you for the Chrome hoodie, because this is Supreme in 2019, dead. This is like Supreme in 2014, very cool. OpenAI 2021, very cool. Okay, Anthropic 2024, very cool. Palantir 2018, very cool. Peter Thiel, pre-2023, very cool. Peter Thiel post-2024, not very cool. This is Chamath in the SPAC era. Okay? I'm sorry, but I'm just being completely honest. Luxury still exists. 99% don't hate those things. 99% of people hate everything. Everyone hates everything. Who makes a sweatshirt? Don't worry. Wouldn't you like to know who makes a sweatshirt the niche, cool, signaling sweatshirt that I wear? Wouldn't you like to know who wears that? Who makes it? Wouldn't you like to know? I'm sure you would. Because you want to get the male gaze from other tech guys like me. Obviously. You want other finance guys to give you the male gaze. Obviously. It's just like, brother, the world, I'm going to say one more take and I'm going to move on. The world generally runs the male gaze. For other males. It makes the world go around, okay? People think women make the world go around. The male, I'm not trolling. The male gaze, like what? Let me ask you one more question. Why do men buy $50,000 watches that are not gold and loud? It's for the male gaze. It's for the male gaze. The female gaze is the obvious prototype, but it's the male gaze to other men. Why do they buy cars? It's like the the core of consumerism is about the male gaze, Gaze. So in many ways, I think you're wrong and I'm right. Luxury is not dead, but it's more about what are you working on. And on that note, Apple has officially came out and announced that they are raising the price on iPads and Macs due to memory chip costs. Crazy. iPad Air 600 to 750. And if you're buying an iPad in the big 2.6, you're not getting any male gaze. Okay. MacBook Neo 600 to 700. iPad Pro Wi-Fi 1,000 to 1,200. MacBook Air 11 to 1,300. And the MacBook Pro is $1,700 to $2,000. Here's what I'm going to say. For the normal person, for the average consumer, for the 99% of the population of the world, the only thing AI has done, has made their water more expensive, made turning the lights on cost more, and their electronics are now harder to afford. That's the only thing that's happened. And so in many ways, I understand. In many ways, I understand the frustration and the anger that most of the population has because AI has done it's gave them a glorified Google search and made their water cost more. And in many ways, I understand. It's also like, you know, we've had the energy costs go up. We've had water bills go up. But this is the first time that we've seen like electronics and seen the memory price increases really hurt everyday consumers. And so if you think about it, over the last decade, the last 15 years, consumer electronics have been the anchor of inflation and keeping it down. Consumer electronics get cheaper, right? Think about what's happened to TVs. I remember when a new flat screen TV, I don't know, it felt like it was $2,000, $2,500. Maybe I was just young. But the price of TVs, the price of consumer electronics are basically down only. I went and bought an Xbox the other day for $200. They sold me an Xbox for $200 at Best Buy. I remember when I got one for Christmas, the first Xbox One, it was like $700. And so this was the one thing, consumer electronics, that would keep the cost of living down while everything else goes crazy. Food goes crazy, water goes crazy, bills go crazy. Consumer electronics stay down, and it doesn't feel like that is going to be the case anymore. And so this is probably the first of a global trend or a market-wide trend that is now acceptable to hike the prices of consumer electronics. Because immediately after this, Microsoft came out and announced that they're going to raise the price of Xbox consoles by $150 for 1 terabyte models, expecting another doubling by the fall of 2027. Doubling is nuts. Doubling is nuts. And so I don't know if it's actually getting more expensive to produce, if they're just using memory as the boogeyman. But I told you this, I said this yesterday on stream, that everyone has just given up on inflation. We've given up. Whatever social contract there was that stood in the way between infinite prices and inflation being acceptable has been thrown. I mean, it's been thrown out the window. And the Apple announcement felt, I don't know, man, it felt semi-significant. So, you know what the real take is, though? Shout out to you. Rasmer speaks highly of you. Thanks, man. You know what the real take is, though? I would pay basically any price for an iPhone. I'm just gonna be honest. I would pay basically any price for an iPhone. I would pay whatever. You're not supposed to say it out loud, I know. I would pay basically any price for an iPhone. Like, I don't know at what. I mean, it's like that you could run, and I recognize I live in a bubble, but by the way, so do you. You watching me on stream, you also live in a bubble. I would pay any price for an iPhone. In many ways, it's I'm not supposed to say this. In many ways, it's too cheap. I've had this phone. Look at this phone. Look at my phone. Look at it. Destroyed. I've had this phone for like, look at it. I've had this phone for 5 years. I've had this phone, and it was $1,000 up front. By the way, another take. I don't know if you recognize this, but at some point in the lifespan of Apple iPhones, they just stopped cracking the screen. What happened? They just don't crack anymore. The back, destroyed. The front screen doesn't crack anymore. What happened? I've dropped my phone face flat from shoulder height 50 times. No crack. Zero cracks. I used to crack my phone the day I got it. Every iPhone I got growing up, 7, 6, 8, 10, whatever, I cracked it the first day. They don't crack anymore. What happened? iPhones, there's some transition. They don't crack. When's the last time you dropped your phone and shattered the front screen? It doesn't happen anymore. Insane. I drop my phone the same, if not more. I throw it. I do everything with it. It's destroyed. I don't have a screen protector. It's not cracked. I've dropped my phone face flat so many times. It is unbelievable. There's no crack. It's unbelievable. Anyways, market doesn't like it. Mags got crushed today. And Apple is the biggest loser out of the group. It is down 6% one day. In one day, down 6%. We are now 15% off ATH on Apple. And look at this gap down. I mean, I guess the thing I'm trying to understand, because I'm maybe a little bit late to this memory thing, but Micron has, I don't know, the best earnings ever, and it has like 85% margins, and their margins are up only on memory. And the answer is like, who's getting cucked out of this? And I guess it's the CapEx spenders. It's Apple, it's Amazon, Google. Like who is suffering so Micron could dominate? I guess it's the hyperscalers. Because somebody's suffering for this to happen. And I guess it's the hyperscalers. It's Apple. It's these companies. For them to print the best earnings ever, somebody has to get, hurt in the pipeline. And so maybe it's just Apple. Apple's on 6% today. It's a big loss. It's a big loss. Oracle maybe. Oracle's, look at this. Remember when Larry Ellison was the richest guy in the world for like 1 hour? Oracle's on 55% off peak. It's crazy. I would pay any price. I mean, there's no price I wouldn't pay for my iPhone. I'm sorry. All right. I have two options for you. Never owned an iPhone. I remember when I used to be like, oh, I don't want an iPhone. I'm going to buy a Samsung. So I think every time in a great man's life, they make a conscious decision that they are going to be different in niche, and they're not going to buy an iPhone. They're going to buy a Samsung. And the first day they get added to their homies chat and it turns green, they get bullied out of their iPhone or out of their Samsung. You get bullied out of your Samsung. Every time. Like, we've all been there. I'm sorry. I've been there. I got bullied out of that shit so fast. Next phone cycle, no way. I got bullied out of it so bad. It's like, do you want to have friends or do you want to have a Samsung? And you may call it what it is. This is how the world works. Here's the deal. It's like, I think on your tech, okay, my intro topic, when I covered how like niche is cool, on tech, you want mainstream because they all interweave. My phone's connected to my computer, it's connected to my FaceTime, it's connected to my AirPods, it's connected to my headphones. They're all connected and it works flawlessly. I want mainstream on my tech. On my IRL hobbies, I want niche. But I think that there was this moment, this watershed moment in like 7th grade. And it was, do you want to have friends or do you want a Samsung? Same price. It's the same price. It's like, what are you doing, man? Just buy it. What are you doing? What do you do? Buy? It's the same price. Do you want to have friends or do you want to buy a Samsung? I got bullied out of it. I'm just gonna be honest. Fully honest. I got bullied out of it. All right, we got two things to cover. Number one is Dario letter leaked talking about how Alibaba is distilling anthropic models and he's very angry about it. Number two is this fellow who apparently is very famous posted an 11-minute video that has 1 million views about why he sold all of his Bitcoin and why it is over. I don't know this fellow. Apparently he's a big deal and I want to watch it. So what we're going to do is we are going to first talk about Chinese capitalism for like 12 minutes. I'm on a clock. We have 12 minutes to talk about Chinese capitalism. Then we're gonna watch this tech lead fellow talk about why Bitcoin's over. I mean, it is what it is. And then we're gonna have Mando come on stream and tell us why Bitcoin's over. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. So, and then I have 9 other topics that we were supposed to do market close too. Fuck, I don't have time. Oh, I don't have time. All right. All right. First and foremost, Whitey with the gifted subs. Whitey with the gifted subs. Thank you. Give some W's. Tech lead ain't worth it. I'm here for Mando. Yeah, well, Mando ain't here. Mando ain't fucking here right now, is it? Okay. All right. First and foremost, let's read this. This has been it's about 10, 12 days old. Dario from Anthropic to the White House talking about how Alibaba and China are distilling models. Also, if you're on YouTube and Twitter and you'd like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. All right. Alibaba executed the largest known distillation attack on Anthropic to date. We were right ahead of the committee's June 11th hearing, AI and the American Dream, with new confidential evidence of the largest campaign to illicitly extract Claude's capabilities we have ever measured. Conducted by operators affiliated with Alibaba and Alibaba Quen, Alibaba's AI lab, between April 22nd and June 5th, 2026. This campaign generated more than 28.8 million exchanges with Claude through almost 25,000 fraudulent accounts. In violation of our terms of service and access restrictions, Alibaba's campaign targeted some of Claude's most valuable capabilities, such as agentic reasoning, software engineering, and long horizon tasks. Congress should advance measures that facilitate threat information sharing between U.S. AI lab, close loopholes allowing PRC AI labs to access advanced U.S. chips, and penalize PRC labs responsible for distillation attacks. Look at this. Distillation attacks harvest American IP to advance our competitors. This campaign followed many of the same patterns we disclosed in a public blog post in February spotlighting distillation attacks of DeepSeek, Moonshot, and Minimax, which together generated over 16 million exchanges with Claude through 24,000 fraudulent accounts. These distillation attacks are carried out illicitly, systematically, and at industrial scale to harvest U.S. AI capabilities across frontier labs and repackage them as their own without incurring the training and R&D costs required to train the U.S. frontier models. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read that. You get the point. Massive industrial scale distillation attempts by China. Okay, now here's the thing, is that it's happening. It's been happening. And I think it's going to continue to happen. Okay, because there's this post quote tweeted by Mark Andreessen, who is a friend of the stream, and it reads as such. Here's what's happening. Chinese resellers are offering Claude tokens at 70 to 90% below Anthropic API prices. They achieve this by reselling capacity from pooled Claude Max accounts, payment fraud, and also reselling the model output and reasoning chains to various Chinese labs. They are subsidizing model access in exchange for user logs and reasoning traces, which they then sell as training data, allowing them to operate below cost. Claude and ChatGPT are both blocked in China. You need to use a VPN to access either, and you can't pay with the Chinese bank card. So most people who want access to Claude buy access via a reseller. It's the easiest and cheapest way to access Anthropic models in China. These resellers operate tens of thousands of bot accounts, which is also why Anthropic introduced identity verification to slow down the onslaught of bots. Here's one token reseller. They're offering Opus 4.8 at a 93% discount below official API rates. 98% discount. This is one reason why DeepSeek and GLM are priced so cheaply. They're competing with impossibly low token prices in China. They have to keep prices low in order for people to use them. I shared this story a few months back, but I never got any traction. It explains the token resale economy in China. It's an excellent read. I'm still not sure I even fully understand. Wait. Okay, so simply explain how they're making prices so cheap. They're basically, yeah, they're drop shipping Claude credits. Think about it like this. Anthropic charges $100 for API usage. The Chinese resellers somehow let you use Claude, the same Claude, for $10 to $30 instead. How? They use consumer subscriptions instead of API pricing. They buy thousands of Claude Max accounts. One account maybe costs a few $100s per month. They automate those accounts and let many customers share them. That alone can be much cheaper than paying API prices. They sell your data to subsidize and offset the cost. Every prompt you send, every response Claude generates, sometimes even the reasoning traces if available. They package all of that and they sell it to AI labs as training data. So maybe they lose $20 serving you, but make $40 selling your conversations. Some allegedly use payment fraud or stolen payment methods. This is an allegation that's been widely discussed, not something you should assume every reseller does. If true, it further lowers their effective costs. They operate at huge scale, tens of thousands of automated accounts. They optimize usage so accounts are busy nearly 24/7. Look at this. Here's an analogy. Imagine Netflix costs $20 a month. Someone says, I'll give you Netflix for $2 a month. How? They're sharing one account with 20 people. They're recording everything you watch and selling the data. They may be using stolen credit cards for some subscriptions. That's roughly the model that's being described here. So they buy one account, they spread it out amongst a ton of people, they charge them the same. Every input and keystroke you have, they sell to the AI labs as training data, and so they're distilling the models at the same time. Think about that. What is this? Oh, nice. We'll come back to this. And so there is basically this black market happening for China to use US Frontier Lab tokens at ridiculously cheap prices that can't really be stopped. And at the same time, the data that comes from these ridiculously cheap prices are allegedly being used to distill these models and train Chinese models for super fucking cheap. And the further ahead the US gets, the better the training data, the further pegged China gets. And DNAP, you got to find this token resale economy in China. I want to learn more about it. But basically, from way I understand this, there's nothing that can be done. And so this brings a very difficult problem of, if you can't stop it, and China can offer the same intelligence for a tenth of the cost and use the training data to make their models better at a tenth of the cost, what happens to the economics of Anthropic and OpenAI? It's kind of gnarly. It's fucking gnarly. And so it brings me this good tweet from Jaws that it's not exactly related to this, but I think it's similar, which is basically that Anthropic and OpenAI are going to have to just compete on cost. They're going to have to just figure out a way to compete on costs.
I want to give
My headphones turned off again. Fuck, hold on. Yeah, that's a good point. If they cut out these resellers in China, how much of their revenue disappears as well?
I want to give a quick counterpoint to the whole Chinese open source AI models are going to take over the world because they're cheaper, they're as good, maybe not as good, but as good enough. If you're an American lab that has a frontier AI model that is expensive, and you see your neighbors, or if you see your adversaries, China, distilling your model and presenting it as a cheaper model, you just do the same for your own model. Anthropic has demonstrated that many times, producing Sonnet. Sonnet 4 is basically their cheaper model of Opus 4.8, I believe. And then you see it with ChatGPT, with GPT Flash. These AI labs will produce a cheaper version and they'll distill it directly from their frontier models. And as these models get good enough to rebuild themselves, it gets easier to do. So I can see a world where they release Fable 6 in the future with a companion model, which is like Sonnet 6, and it's super cheap for anyone that wants 85% of the capability and don't care about that extra 15%, and it's super cheap.
So basically what's happening here, if you think about it, Chinese labs are distilling these American models and releasing open source models at a fraction of the cost. What's really happening is it's a battle of two capitalisms: American capitalism and Chinese capitalism. Chinese capitalism is you make something, we will copy it, we will make it better, and there's nothing you can do about it. We've read the Chinese capitalism article on stream before. American capitalism is, hey, this is our idea, make them stop. The way things are going, it is super unclear that it's even possible to make them stop. It feels like if it was possible to make them stop, they would have already stopped by now. So American labs, Anthropic, OpenAI basically have two options. One, they either figure out how to compete on cost and make their tokens and their compute way cheaper. Or two, they figure out how to widen the gap against these open source models by a significant step function further and put in some blocker where it's more difficult to distill. Widen the gap or make it cheaper, because Chinese capitalism does not go away. It's just the way the world works. It does not go away. You cannot stop Chinese capitalism. Puts them in a tough spot. Also, the black question is, how much revenue does Anthropic lose if they cut out these gray markets in China? I don't know. No one seems to really know, but this is the most fun topic I've found on the AI battle for sure. I randomly still ask myself, what did Ilias see? I know, me too. All right. On that note, we got a video to watch to set us up for Mando. Let's just watch it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Mando will be on 15 minutes, talk about Stretch imploding. Let's just do it.
On camera, hey, it's been a while. Welcome back.
I don't know if I can do it. Let's do it. Is that a Snapchat?
Hey, it's been a while. Welcome back. I sold all my Bitcoin, and I suffered absolutely massive financial losses. If you told me a year ago I'd be saying this out loud on camera, I'd have laughed in your face. But that's why I've been gone. People kept asking where I went, and the honest answer is I couldn't face you guys. Bitcoin fell from 120K last October
Whose idea was this again?
to the low 60Ks this summer, a 50% crash, and nothing can prepare you for what a move like this does to you mentally, especially when you're leveraged. Money, easy come, easy go. I was over-leveraged. A simple, small mistake with brutal consequences. And as the price kept bleeding down with no bounce, no relief rally, I was staring down the barrel of liquidation. And so I had a choice. Either sell, take the loss and survive, or hold, stand by my ideals and get wiped out. And so I sold. And then I went dark because I realized I had no idea what I was doing anymore. I'd built my entire identity around this. I was the Bitcoin guy. But as the markets moved against me and my
For the record, I've never heard of him, but maybe he is the Bitcoin guy in some circles. He's not my Bitcoin guy.
thesis simply was not playing out, I only doubled down and found myself confused, depressed, burned out, and honestly a little embarrassed at how deluded I had let myself become. I'm rebuilding now. And to be clear, I'm still bullish long term. I'll probably buy back in lower someday, but on my way down, I did see something I can't unsee. And if you understand this, it may save you the same pain I just went through. So in this video, I will explain exactly what I saw that unsettled my nerves so much. So here's what I had backwards the entire time. In an attention economy, you don't trade fundamentals, you trade attention, and that attention is liquidity. So let me make this simple. Think about NFTs. People paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a JPEG. Everyone bought high. Everyone held. No one sold. Diamond hands, right? But did that keep the price up? Well, no. NFTs collapsed anyways, and most are worth zero today, because price is not about how many people buy and hold. It's about whether a new buyer shows up tomorrow willing to pay more. The next marginal
Bitcoin NFTs was the funniest thesis. Like NFTs, they're on Bitcoin.
buyer. And so the moment attention disappears, so too does the buyer. And that is the whole mechanism, and the same may happen to Bitcoin as well. Holding does not save you, only the next buyer does. So the real problem is attention. You see, the difference with gold is gold doesn't need new attention. It's had 5,000 years of it baked into history, culture, family traditions. Well, companies don't need it either, because companies manufacture attention regularly. They have a marketing department. New products, new iPhones, press releases, quarterly earnings, conferences, launches. There's always a fresh reason for a new buyer to show up. But Bitcoin has none of that. No earnings, no yield, no press releases. Bitcoin needs people to talk about it to attract new buyers. And the people who used to talk about it have gone silent. The crypto influencers disappeared, if you haven't noticed, not because they necessarily lost faith, but because of wrench attacks. In fact, I would say Bitcoin's decline coincides exactly with the rise of wrench attacks. Posting your gains online started getting people physically robbed. There were 72 attacks worldwide in 2025. Criminals showed up at your door as a package delivery, food driver, or a fake cop, and so a chill fell upon the whole crypto community. Everyone went silent, anonymous, stopped posting. Bitcoiners adopted a new mantra: never talk about your Bitcoin. And so that 2021 guy with the laser eyes and the Lambo, gone. He's no longer recruiting that next wave of buyers. He is checking his doorbell camera now. And the rest
Because of wrench attacks. I don't know. Let me think about it.
are just exhausted. Exhausted of explaining what inflation is yet again, what scarcity is, how the Fed prints money, what store of value means, or what proof of work is, and everyone's exhausted of hearing about this over and over again. Nobody wants yet another lecture on sound money. And so the retail wave already came and went in 2021. The Wall Street wave already happened with the ETF launches. Excitement came and went. And so who is the next marginal buyer? And that's the question I could not answer, because attention is liquidity. And right now, all attention is focused on one thing: AI. There's absolutely zero appetite to build a Bitcoin reserve by anyone, not by any company, not by any country. And anyone who has any cash at all is spending it on AI immediately. AI capex is exploding, no one's saving, everybody's spending. Google is diluting its own shareholders so that they can spend more. And ever since AI went parabolic, no one is even thinking about building a reserve, much less buying Bitcoin with it. Let's check the price here. Bitcoin under 60K now. Once I understood attention is liquidity, the exit door is what actually scared me into selling. So here's the problem. The liquidity that built up during the 2021 mania was simply no longer exists anymore. We never hit critical mass where the merchants and businesses are actually transacting in Bitcoin. And so the pool you'd sell into today is far shallower than in 2021. We are skating on thin ice. And a lot of people still need to exit. Mt. Gox creditors finally getting repaid after more than a decade. 35,000 coins for people who are exhausted and just want out. Strategy still sitting on 850,000 coins, bought largely with borrowed money. They quietly started selling just a little this year, hoping you will become their exit liquidity. Early whales who still need to cash out. Digital asset treasuries, all watching that one exit door like hawks. And nation states too. Every one of them are watching that one exit, hoping no one moves for it. But the liquidity they're all counting on only existed during the 2021 mania run-up, and it would take years to rebuild now that it's evaporated. And I suspect currently there may not be enough liquidity for everyone to get out. There's one other thing that's unsettled my conviction gradually over months. The developers, Bitcoin Core. The dominant software running the network is a group called Bitcoin Core, and the number of people who hold the keys that decide what code actually gets merged in is 6. Only 6 people control Bitcoin Core. Now, I'm not accusing these 6 people of anything. They may
Is that true?
be talented, I'm just pointing at the number. Because last year, they pushed through a change that most of the Bitcoin community, Saylor included, begged the devs not to make. Version 30 increased how much arbitrary junk metadata you can stuff into a transaction, when the whole point of Bitcoin was supposed to be lean money and not a clogged hard drive. But they did it anyway. Enough people revolted that a rival version called Bitcoin Knots went from nothing to 20% of the network in just a few months. Now Bitcoin Knots is maintained by just one developer. And this drama with Core isn't new either. Bitcoin Core supporters also controls the main Bitcoin subreddit. And so back in 2015, during the block size wars, they tried banning entire discussions, deleting
Cares
top
about the fucking subreddit, man. Give me a break.
threads, even posts from the CEO of Coinbase. And so this is your decentralized global money. 6 people with the keys to the code, 1 Reddit mod who decides what you're allowed to say about it, and a backup
Dude, Reddit mod, give me a fucking break. Are you serious?
plan held together by a single outcast developer, decentralized. When I step back and look at this, I didn't know what I had signed up for anymore.
Oh my god. Give me a fucking break, dude.
What's also unsettling is there are 2 ticking time bombs for Bitcoin. The first is quantum. Now, eventually, a powerful enough quantum computer could break through
Fair.
the cryptography guarding Bitcoin wallets. And look, maybe that's not even going to happen. But regardless, I was stunned there's been no cohesive plan or dev community who could put together a plan. We couldn't even stop each other from jamming junk metadata onto the chain, and this is who would have to coordinate a network-wide migration under deadline with hundreds of billions of dollars on the line. The second clock are the miners. Everyone says Bitcoin is digital gold, but this would gloss over technical details. Miners secure the network, and they have to get paid in 2 ways, either newly minted coins or your transaction fees. And the problem is, well, 95% of all Bitcoin is already minted. The fee economy that they would depend on never showed up. Satoshi never imagined wrapped Bitcoins, never imagined most coins just sitting there, not moving, not paying fees, not getting attention. And so as the fees fade, miners switch off, security drops, the network weakens again, more miners sell off, and a slow death spiral could trigger. Nobody really knows what happens when the fees run dry. The original dream was sovereign money. Sounds great. But let's be honest too, that dream is very idealistic and maybe even dangerously naive. Will any government really tolerate a system it cannot control? No KYC, no AML, no capital controls, no sanctions abilities. China already banned it outright. And even in the US, the currently friendly treatment is
China already banned it outright. Come on, brother.
only political theater. The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve was a circus show for votes, not law. And the government has bought exactly 0 new Bitcoins for it. Trump's approval numbers have been steadily declining. The tariffs and wars have not been popular, so what if the Democrats take back power in 2028, turn hostile to crypto, and the next bull cycle might not arrive until 2032 at the earliest? That's another 6 years of waiting. So ask yourself, will the 2032 cohort be as excited to discover Bitcoin as the 2021 cohort was? And what age will you be by then? Is your time horizon really that long? Or would that have been your life passing by? And so after all of that, why am I still bullish? Because the technology is real. And I think over the long term, Bitcoin gets stronger with each new generation that rediscovers it. So if you can, buy a little and stash it somewhere you won't touch. Bitcoin gets rediscovered every cycle, usually right after everyone agrees it's dead. Which, comes to think of, makes this video a pretty solid bottom signal. Look, I remember buying my first Bitcoin at $800 in 2013. I watched it crash to $200 and sold the exact bottom. See, I'm a contrarian indicator. Just do the exact opposite of me.
I hate people do this shit, by the way. You didn't buy no $800 Bitcoin. Show 'em.
But that's the lesson, isn't it? Being right in the short term counts for nothing. Being right in the long term counts for everything. So no, I'm not out. I'm just stepping back and watching the door. I'll be monitoring the situation. And if I just sold the bottom again, well, you know what to do. So those are my...
Wait, what? He's out or he's not out?
I'm not out. I'm just stepping back and watching the door. I'll be monitoring the situation. And if I just sold the bottom again, well, you know what to do. So those are my thoughts, but let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the Bitcoin situation? See you there, and I'll see you in the next one.
Top comment. Oh, we just wasted like 12 minutes of our life. Really glad we watched that, guys. Thanks, guys. Great suggestion, guys. Really appreciate the suggestion on the stream doc that we have to watch this. Really appreciate that suggestion. Video sucked. I mean, all right, two things. Number one, yeah, ban whoever suggested watching this. Number one is the only legitimate pushback is the quantum thing. The problem with the quantum argument is that no one even knows if quantum computers work, and nobody has built quantum resistant technology. And so it's sort of unclear how anyone's supposed to have a plan for a thing that they don't even know what it is. This is where I'm at on the quantum discussion. It's like nobody has any idea if it works, if it's possible, and then what it will look like and how you would theoretically stop it. And so Trump makes a government mandate that by 2031, all of these government platforms have to be post-quantum. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not that worried about the Bitcoin quantum problem. It's like a fair one. But it's super cop-outable because what are they supposed to do right now? What are they supposed to do right now? And then you also run into this problem, like you push some incorrect or vulnerable post-quantum software into Bitcoin and you ruin it in other ways. And so in a lot of ways, I understand why Bitcoin devs are reluctant to do anything because Bitcoin has survived 20 years or whatever 20 years, 19 years by doing nothing during block size debates and all of these discussions with Bitcoin. They've done nothing and they've made it this far. And so, yeah, they're hyper reluctant to do anything. Look, I love Bitcoin. I don't have any. I love Bitcoin. I think it's going to go to $1 million. We have problems. A decent amount of washing out has been done. The DAT thing has been a fucking disaster. Convince a ton of people to buy the top through ETFs, through all of these financial vehicles. But that's always how it works. Is the mainstream people always buy the top. That's how it always ends. This is how tops are made, and then bottoms are made when they're all forced to sell. That's how you make a top. You get to blow off the top when every normal person comes rushing in through new vehicles to buy as much as hand over fist as much as possible. That's how tops are always made. I still love Bitcoin, but we have a problem to deal with. We really do. We got to deal. Something has to happen with Saylor. Something has to happen with Saylor. Was it a blow off top? I kind of look at what happened, the way that the top happened with DATs, as it was fake PA. And so I forget to explain this on stream, but I liked the take that you basically brought forward. You basically brought forward a future demand, like the next year of demand, and you pulled all of it into right now through these couple vehicles, and you slammed it and got every ounce of liquidity you could to get us up to 126 or whatever it was with Trump, with everything. And then you suffer a normal drawdown, and then the future drawdown you have to pay for because you got the instant gratification quicker. And so I think they pulled a lot of future liquidity up forward and then you're left like really barren on the back end. We got to figure out what's going to happen to Saylor. In a lot of ways, I think we've hit peak fear from I think he's going to blow up. The only thing left to happen is either him blowing up or him not, right? Like, I don't think we could really go much lower unless Saylor starts market selling billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Then we're going lower. I find myself kind of being neutral at the stage. Like, I was a forced seller of a lot of BTC at 69K to pay taxes, which I was like really upset about. I was very upset about that. It like really, 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 really blew me. But it was what it was. Or it is what it is. It turned out to be, funny enough, a good trade. But yeah, we're left in a tough spot. We're left in a tough spot with BTC. I just it's just hard to get excited about it at this moment, but I think that it's one of these assets that it matters when it matters. All right, I gave this example. This analogy. Let me give you a really bad analogy of how I think of Bitcoin right now. Because we're going towards a world rapidly where Bitcoin matters more and more and more and more and more. Let me give you an analogy. All right, I'm watching Game of Thrones right now. Okay, imagine we are at Game of Thrones. We're like a castle in Game of Thrones. We have all these Valyrian steel swords, like thousands of these swords, and they're super valuable. And they're going up in price. They're worth like way more gold per steel, way more gold per steel. And eventually like the prices crash and they're not worth that much. And they're not worth that much because we haven't been to war in like 25 years. We haven't been to war in 25 years. And so the new generation like doesn't even know that we need Valyrian steel. Until fucking the king beyond the wall, Mance Raider, comes with 100,000 and giants, and we're at war, and then all of a sudden Valyrian steel swords is the most valuable thing that we have, period. Like the singular most valuable thing that we have. In a lot of ways, I think that's Bitcoin. It's like we're going to speculate on if we need it, if we don't need it, if it's important, if it's not, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to kind of be stuck in the middle somewhere. But there will be a time at some point where we really need Bitcoin. And for a lot of people, it'll probably be too late, or things will probably be in a really grim spot, all things considered. But it will have its day again, and there will be a time when you realize it really matters. This is what I think. The rest of crypto, I don't know. Altcoins as an asset class, I don't really know. But that's kind of my Bitcoin take. There will be a time again where you need Valyrian steel swords. Winter is coming, and you can't really stop it. So that's my take on BTC. And we're going to have Mando come on stream right now. Also on the bottom signals, you think hype decouples? It's already decoupled. Hype decoupled a long time ago. Bitcoin was already needed multiple times within bank runs. Yeah, I mean, people forget Bitcoin went to almost $2 trillion. Bitcoin was $2 trillion. Meta's sub $1 trillion right now. Most valuable company in the world is like 4.5, 5. Bitcoin was a top 10 asset globally. Think about that. It was a top 10 asset globally, including gold, including silver, including oil, including mags, Tesla, Nvidia. It was a top 10 asset globally. People, I think I even took for granted how big Bitcoin was or is. I mean, it's massive. It's over $1 trillion. It's worth more than Micron. And maybe you think that's small, but here's one more for you. Dave Portnight. I need all the Bitcoin and crypto people who say it's going to $1 million and how it's the future to tell me why people have always said it's a scam and going to zero are wrong, because it seems like it's going to zero. That's a bottom signal for you. If Dave sold, that would be pretty fun. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm waiting for Mando, but I think he's going to be on in a second. I'm going to get up really quick. I'll be back in 30 seconds. And when I do get back, we will have Mando come on. He's going to tell us what's really going to happen with Saylor. I'm going to warn you, he's a bear. Luke, is he in? No, he's not. Am I in the wrong meeting? Mando! Oh, it was muted. Luke, I'm in the wrong. We're in the wrong room. We gotta fix this. Someone's in the wrong room. Check what I just sent in core. He has the link. We gotta stop doing this. Hold on, chat. Hold on. Someone's in the wrong meeting. You're not even in this meeting I'm in. Hold on, chat. All right, stand by. See, all right, let me fix our. Oh, he's in Discord. He's in Discord. I quit Zins 3 days ago. I'm depressed. Still can't wait for it to pass. I do Zins on a weekend every once in a while, but I'm not a big Zin guy at all. Chat, you use Zins or no? Hold on. I know. I made you watch. Use gum. Darts dog. Oh. Okay, but he's here. Luke, I don't need you.
Yo.
Wait, give me 1 second. Let me get your PFP up. Yeah. What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me?
You changed your setup.
I know. What do you think?
I was hanging out in the Discord by myself. I was like,
Oh,
this is not normal.
I
Wow,
know.
yeah, you have changed your background as well.
I know. What do you think?
Budget's only going higher for this, isn't it?
It's got
You're gonna have dinosaur parts in the background soon.
I know. I just fucked your tech up. They can't even see you, but we'll get you back up there. How are you, man?
Fantastic. Great.
Wait, I gotta rug you for a second. Oh no, he's good. Luke, stop. Luke,
Good.
stop. Stop. Okay, now we're good. All right, cool. It's good to see you, man. Times are a little bit grim out there, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely not been an easy month to be a cryptocurrency enjoyer. It feels like.
It has not.
Well, not a nice year to be honest, but
It hasn't been nice for a long time, I suppose.
yeah, although markets are just absolutely insane. Everything's become like crypto, right? So it's, if you pivoted, which I feel like you did, there's definitely been stuff to talk about, but crypto, yeah, crypto's been nasty.
We've it's funny, like I felt like we were pivoting super late and then it's just still up. I mean, I have a chart marked on when Air Mass came on the stream and when full port Micron is $600. I thought I was late.
Yeah.
$600, $1,200 right now. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that is a 2x. I don't think it's like that crazy to find a 2x in this market, but it has been, Micron has been the trade, right? It's been the most insane.
Well, 2x on $700 billion is a little bit.
2x on 700 billion is impressive, for sure.
Like a month.
I feel like the SanDisk trade was the one that started off like, was it back end of last year and then was the start of this year? That people who caught that trade, which I felt like they caught that from, I remember hearing about SanDisk in like Q3, Q4 last year, and that one just went parabolic.
That one has been disgusting. Unfortunately, I would love to talk about stocks only, but we got to talk about some. I think we have to talk about some crypto. You've become our resident Bitcoin quant, man.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple bull posts today. Call me crazy. I'm seeing Ansem's tweeting bottom. I'm seeing some bull posts, but man, it's grim out there. On, I think Stretch closed, what, 76? 75.69 on Stretch. Strategy is 85.33 on the close, and Bitcoin right now is 59,588. So Can you just
I
give us...
actually covered 85% of my MicroStrategy short just
Really?
into the close. Yeah.
Where'd you enter?
124.
Oh my God. Did you
Yeah.
size it well?
Yeah, we sized that one well. as soon as stretch started moving lower, I was like, this is the move. It was kind of what I spoke to you about. I felt like this has been engineered. Like somebody, if I was smart here, I would have just started smashing stretch lower, and then it started going lower. And I was like, they're gonna decimate MicroStrategy if this happens.
So can you give us a setup for the crypto guys, but even the stock guys that watch now, because we're cross asset? Can you give us a setup on where we are at right now and like what is happening with Saylor as it currently stands?
Yeah, so I think about a month, 2 months ago, there were some terrible takes around this all, and I think the market, the repricing of MicroStrategy has meant that if you just type it in strategy into X now, you probably have got some pretty good takes. Like I think everyone was looking at it maybe the wrong way 2 months ago, and they've started to like look at it maybe the right way more recently. But I think 2 months ago, everyone was just valuing his Bitcoin versus his liabilities or versus the equity value, right? And they were going like, well, the EV of the company is the EV of a company, when people talk about it, is the assets or the assets plus liabilities. Sorry, the net debt plus the liability plus the equity value, and that was coming in at around 1.3, 1.4 times the value of the assets, which was his Bitcoin. And people were like, well, it's fine. Like even during last cycle, the value of the liabilities that plus the equity kind of went below even the value of the assets, and that was okay. But what he did over the last 2 months or 3 months is suddenly just add this cash flow problem. It suddenly went from just being a liability problem to being a cash flow problem, because suddenly he's got to come up with $1.7 billion a year. And he basically, for some unknown reason, basically used up all of his cash suddenly.
Why did he do this? Why did we incorporate Stretch in the first place?
Why did he incorporate Stretch? I have no idea. I think for some reason there was some talk about him like trying to get yield out of his Bitcoin. He thought this was like an interesting way to like change the cap structure, but it was so successful, particularly in terms of the marketing, that it became such a huge bit of his cap stack, and suddenly he needed $1.7 billion a year to basically maintain it. And that started to happen around February, March, and I think a lot of people were like, "This is going to get bad if this is a perpetual liability that he's got." And then again, for some unknown reason, he bought back some converts. They were trading in, I think, the 80s, and he bought them back and depleted his cash balance. And suddenly everyone was like, well, actually, he only has like 5 or 6 months of cash balance right now.
So what happened with that cash balance? He raised it for dividends and then he spent it.
Yeah, he just bought back some converts with it. So suddenly his cash balance was not as big as it ever was before.
Is that legal to do that, to raise it for one thing and spend it on another?
I don't know. I feel like Saylor's done a lot of things recently which he said he wouldn't do. And okay, I think some of that might come back to bite him. But yeah, actually, can I share stuff on this or no?
Yeah, you can
I can't. Share screen. Oh no, I can't share. It says host disabled. Oh, really? But you get like a good sense of it. I actually built like a very small model which I can share. But basically, suddenly the price of Bitcoin started to drop, and suddenly the value of this pref that he issued, which is about 15 billion, plus the bonds he'd issued, which is like 22 billion, all in, started to look a little bit risky. And the value of the company, as the equity started to drop, you started to come close to the value of that debt plus pref. I think even at the if Bitcoin was to drop to like 40K or 35K, basically the Bitcoin stack that he owns would suddenly be roughly worth the same as this pref that he issued plus the debt. And that's what suddenly people started to get worried about with MicroStrategy, because he also needs to come up with $1.7 billion a year. And suddenly, if Bitcoin drops, he's got this new liability that he's got to pay. I actually don't think he blows up though. Like I'm not in the camp, unless he gets arrested here, I'm not in the camp that he can blow up. I think.
Okay, so let's go like 1 and 2. What do you think is Like, what would you do if you were Saylor? Like, what is his best out here? How many outs does he have?
He only has a few different outs. And the only way that Saylor can come up with cash, right, is sell Bitcoin or sell MicroStrategy. Yeah. It feels as though the selling the Bitcoin thing that he tried to do was taken very badly. I think he tried to do it to show to the credit rating agencies that he can sell this thing, and it just kind of backfired pretty badly.
Yeah. He sold 30 Bitcoin, right? And
yeah. So now he can only really sell MicroStrategy stock. And the issue about that is MicroStrategy stock has gone from trading at $50 to $60 billion market cap to now trading close to 30 billion, right? And he's got, if I'm honest, I think he needs to take out all of his prefs. Like the whole of the stretch thing that he just issued, he needs to take out the vast majority of it, in my opinion, if this company's going to survive long term.
Buy it back? Like, how does this work?
Well, yeah, traditionally you could offer like a tender offer, and you could, there's about 15 billion of pref, and he could go out and say, look, I will pay you 80 cents on the dollar. I think it's trading at what, 75 right now. 75. So he give you a premium, say, I'll buy it back at 80 cents on the dollar. And he could basically retire that 15 billion of pref at something like for 12 billion, something along those lines. The issue about that is that, like, I think the way that he sold this pref is pretty horrific in terms of the marketing, and like to then turn around and basically say, hey, I'm buying this back on 80 cents on the dollar is pretty wild. If he really wanted to screw people, he'd also turn off the dividend, because then he could probably buy it back at like 60 cents on the dollar. But
can he do that?
It is
dividend?
He can do whatever he likes. If you look through the documentation of both of these things, he can turn off the dividend for the prefs, even if he has cash on the balance sheet. He doesn't even have to issue new MicroStrategy stock to pay off the dividend. The one thing that it does accrue. So if he stops paying it 1 year, basically next year he's got to pay it again. But he doesn't have to pay it.
But how long can he accrue it for?
It's perpetual. It will go on forever.
So in theory, he could accrue it for 10 years and just...
That's 17 billion. So
start paying next decade?
Yeah, he could. But now, this is why, like, it's a little bit... He has a lot of control as well. Saylor runs this company. It's not like any of the other DATs. He has all the voting power. You're not getting rid of Saylor unless the feds come in and say, like, you've done something really bad here. So... what he can do, like if I was doing like a really bad guy, and let's say I'm just like,
you're trying to save,
take me to jail, life. I would actually turn off the pref dividend, of which case I reckon stretch probably trades down into the 60s and 50s, and then I would do a tender offer to buy it back at 65 cents on the dollar, and I would then sell Bitcoin most probably and buy it back. So I sell so let's say you're buying back 65 cents on the dollar, you can buy back 15 billion or $16 billion of pref at $10 billion. So you'd have to sell $10 billion and you buy back all the prefs, and then you get rid of that ongoing cash flow problem that he has. That's to get rid of the prefs. He also has got to get rid of the bonds. So the other thing about these bonds that he has is they're converts, but they're puttable.
So how does this work?
So in high yield markets, bonds are normally callable, but with converts, they're puttable. So basically, anyone who owns them can say, Saylor, you have to pay me back. And if they're trading below...
paying back cash?
Yeah. If they're trading below essentially par or like the notional strike, they can basically say, you have to pay this back. And they all are trading below that price. So in the next 2 years, he also has to pay back, assuming prices stay the same, about just over $6 billion worth of bonds.
Who was buying these bonds? Why would you?
Well, they were convertible bonds, and to be honest, the convertible bonds actually they'll probably be paid off. Like they're in a waterfall scenario, like they're much higher.
So how does it work? Like, what are you buying if you buy a convertible strategy bond?
Well, if it goes above a certain price, it gets convertible into equity. So these were very attractive at the start when Bitcoin was at a low price, because if the equity value of MicroStrategy went higher, then it would. So converts is, in a good scenario, you get equity and you get the upside. In a bad scenario, as in like the company doesn't really grow, it becomes a bond of which you get back your par value. And that's the case with MicroStrategy right now. So not only does he have to get an
upside vehicle where you don't have that much downside.
Well, there is they're normally lower down in a cap stack, but in this case they're actually they're probably the most secure.
Got it.
And he's got to come up with that. So actually there is a trigger here for Saylor. So, and I think he's going to move quite quickly, if I'm honest, because if Bitcoin does drop here to 50 to 40, even to 35K, I think it gets a lot worse for him. And I've been saying that since, way higher. Like, I think the lower Bitcoin goes, his options diminish meaningfully, and the chance of this actually blowing up either in 2027 or 2028, where he can't either repay the bonds or he basically has to do some sort of secured financing where MicroStrategy stock gets decimated, is very high. So there is like this. There's obviously this like reflexivity with, or there's a lot of gamma right now with Bitcoin price, and that's what's been spooked. That's what spooked everything right now. MicroStrategy was trading at around its equity MNAV was trading around 1 about a month and a half ago when he decided to pay back the bonds, and now it's trading at 0.6. So it has dropped around 40% relative to the value of the Bitcoin that it's hold. And it's still trading. If you go into the strategy, one thing they do have is very good documentation. So if you go into strategy.com, you can see everything. Their MNAV has gone now down to 1. Their EV MNAV has gone just above 1.
Whoa.
So that's why I kind of cut it today, because I was like, the whole EV MNAV is now around 1. You're really just in is a Bitcoin going to drop trade here, rather than just the equity can really underperform the Bitcoin. But yeah, the one unknown in all of this is whether he goes to jail.
Okay, so how likely is it, do you think, that he goes to jail?
I think increasingly likely, if I'm honest. Particularly if he did some of the things that I said would be his best move, which is like turning off the dividend and doing some form of a tender offer. Because if you look at how this asset was sold, I mean, just go into Saylor's X right now and just go into his media tab, and you'll see just video after video of
you weren't meant to live an uncomfortable life.
There's one with like money is coming out of the letterbox, and he's just standing there being like, you're just like, this is horrific.
I mean,
and
they sold it as a savings account,
right? And now it's trading at 75 cents on the dollar. So that's in 2 months, 2 years worth of the dividend that was promised has basically been evaporated. So I think we saw some civil cases already launched today, right? And class actions. The next cases around this would be if the SEC decides that he missold the stretch asset security.
I mean, how would they not?
And if that's the case, then he's on the hook for selling $15 billion worth of, or at least $10 billion worth of prefs. I don't know how that resolves. If he's got to pay back $10 billion worth of prefs at par, then he's probably got to sell Bitcoin or sell a lot of MicroStrategy to get there. So I think in the best case scenario, MicroStrategy stock gets decimated, in my opinion. And in the worst case scenario, actually we get a forced liquidation of Bitcoin through a Chapter 11. And in that case, I reckon Bitcoin's trading at like 30K.
And so we're basically
actually that's not the best case scenario. Is actually just Bitcoin rips here, like it just absolutely rips, and this overhang suddenly just goes away.
How could that happen? How could Bitcoin, the market
right.
go up?
This is the thing, like Bitcoin hit 59K and it rallied all the way back up to 80K. Then it hit 59K and rallied to 67K. Then it hit 59K and rallied to 62 or 63K. And now it's hit 59K and it's rallied to 60K, and everyone's calling the moment it's going to turn. Like Bitcoin is hammering at this 59K level. And if it drops to 50K and 40K, the chance this Saylor situation goes from bad to really, really fucking bad. So what is the like this thing could be a Chapter 11.
What's the trigger?
Is high.
What's the trigger?
The trigger for Saylor, because this isn't like FTX. Like FTX, CZ sent out the tweet on the Friday.
Yeah, they had a level. They had an actual level, right? Yeah.
FTX was gone. Yeah. This is not like that.
Okay.
Saylor has complete control. He actually can just run the ball for a year now, most probably. The main trigger that I see is probably in 2027 or 2028.
Got it.
because he will have to repay these bonds. And
Got it.
there is a world there where that is not possible. And then the other one is that he gets done for mis-selling, of which I think could come. I really do think it could come in the next month or two, particularly if Stretch continues to fall. Like, there will be people looking at Saylor. I also just think, like, and this is me putting a bit of a tinfoil hat on, like, the government wants this Bitcoin. One way or another, I reckon. I reckon there is a good chance that some sort of government-related entity ends up with this Bitcoin if it goes through a Chapter 11. Like, somebody buys, just like with the FTX estate sale. Well, most Chapter 11s are not paid in kind, as you saw with FTX. So, like, you couldn't just get paid in their balance sheet of Anthropic stock and Solana, and everyone got really pissed because they basically sold everything at the lows, and they got back, they still got back par, essentially 100. Some of them even got like 120, but we would have got a lot more if you got a percentage of all the assets of FTX, right? So there is a chance here where, like, if this were to go through Chapter 11, and let's say Saylor got arrested or whatever, that there would have to be somebody who buys all this Bitcoin to then pay back all the creditors. And in my mind, if I go through all the different steps, I reckon that would probably be some US related entity. Maybe not like a pure government entity. Maybe it's like American Bitcoin, or like some of these like but it will be somebody that's close to the US government that could come in and buy this. So I actually don't think there's like much incentive for anyone to also save this from the US side. I actually think kind of the opposite. And that's why I also think that this could get worse before it gets better.
He's also like an easy scapegoat, because, like, why would Trump want to save Saylor? Because it's like Trump comes in, Bitcoin president, everyone that buys Bitcoin gets decimated. Now you have an easy out on Michael Saylor as like committing financial crimes. It's not my fault.
Well, he did commit financial crimes, in my opinion.
That too.
But
yeah. So what do you think it's like a coin flip? He goes to jail, or no? Is it less?
I'm telling you now, I took off my MicroStrategy sort today. I'm late to the party, or at least this story that I'm telling you was something that I was shouting about 2 months ago, a month ago, and now it feels like it's popular. And I think because the EV MNAV essentially is one, I quite like other shorts here. I think that it probably continues on here for a little bit longer. Like I said, there's no immediate trigger. The real triggers for me, unless he gets huge lawsuits, is probably next year or the year afterwards. But I do think this is the end of the DAT trade. Part of what I was saying to you is, like, I moved part of my short here into ETH because I actually think that BitMine looks interesting to me here.
They're coming knocking on BitMine.
Well, if you bring up, I don't know if you can, but like BitMine MNAV, okay, just type that into Google, and Blockworks has got a good website around this, but
I can't do it actually. Let's go.
BitMine as an MNAV has generally traded around 1 since its existence, or maybe even above 1. The Blockworks 1.
Right now it is, whoa.
And what you have seen over the last month is that this has started to drop.
Right now it's 0.86. Is this true?
That is true.
Oh,
but mine's been dropping quite a lot over the last few days. And BitMine is a very different sort of vehicle to MicroStrategy in that it doesn't have the debt. It doesn't have the debt part of it. It's just equity. So it's a much cleaner vehicle.
Oh, ETH is 1,500 right now. Wow.
Yeah, it has a much smaller, but BitMine has a much smaller pref component. I think it has a very small one.
Oh.
But Tom Lee does not own this vehicle. He is just the CEO. He was paid a nice pay package back in January. But and they were talking about this alchemy of 5%, right? They want to get to 5% ownership of ETH, and they've got to 4.6 or 4.7. So they're done. They've got like a few $100 million to buy, maybe 300 million, and they're issuing stock to buy it right now. But in my world, if Saylor does, let's say Bitcoin does drop here and goes to 50K, I reckon that equity MNAV, the reason why it's been dropping is because people are saying DATs are over. And if that equity MNAV goes to like 0.7 or 0.75, I think you have the biggest owner of ETH, which owns 5% of all of ETH, basically having to question whether they should sell ETH to buy their own stock, which is, as a shareholder, would be the obvious thing that they should do. And Tom Lee hasn't been asked about this because it stayed at 1 the whole time. But if it's at 0.7, or if it's even at 0.8 for a sustained period, or around that sort of level, I think you have a ticking time bomb there.
Wow.
So, and I think there is no other buyer of ETH.
No, there's no.
It's not like Bitcoin. Like ETH was taken from 1,500 to 4K by Tom Lee.
By Tom Lee.
And it's back down, and he has got no more to buy. And the equity MNAV over the last 2 or 3 weeks has suddenly dropped 15%. And he's got no more to buy. So I sit there and I go like, well, if that drops to 0.8, and the Ethereum Foundation is basically said we're broke and we're cutting 40% of staff.
Who even knew they had this many people? Yeah, they have no money.
And we're taking some of the staking revenue, and then you have the whole AI one shot into DeFi, like, and this is not this. People talk about in terms of price. ETH is a $200 billion asset. If I just look at that, and I actually think that might be a more interesting short right now. So
how are you setting up this trade?
I kind of moved that a bit of. I took off MicroStrategy, like I said, and moved quite a lot of it to ETH because I don't think ETH runs. There's not a day where I think ETH's going to rally 10%. There may be a day where, like MicroStrategy, if they say they're going to cut the dividend, maybe you see a pop in the stock or something like that. And if you look at the open interest on MicroStrategy, it's actually been kind of soaring over the last few days.
People are
shorting it.
Okay, well, it's all shorts.
It's become a popular short, right? Yeah. Like everyone's kind of piling in. So after hours, it generally I feel like it's been really hard
piled in too the last couple of days.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, if Bitcoin drops to 35K, I think MicroStrategy trades at like 10. It probably maybe trades at like 15. It is still very exposed. I just right now, as we went to market close, I was like, I'll move some of this to ETH because I actually think that is a trade that could get worse because Bitmine's been getting hammered. Bitmine was down another 6% today.
Let's see.
And you look at that and go like, right, well, if they're going to have a run at Bitmine here, then I think the ETH trade suddenly becomes a difficult one.
Wow, it's $7.5 billion. Wow, this thing traded at $160. The top. What the fuck is this bro? I had a daily went from 58 to top wick 160 in a day. BMNR. What the fuck was going on? July 75.
Well, in the early days of that, everyone was retarded, right?
I mean, that is.
We had people coming on here and confessing financial crimes, as far as I remember.
It's going to be a case. I don't want to testify. It's going to be. We're talking about the same video, right? Same take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely. There's a subpoena coming for you.
I'm making $1 million a day. He says. That was bad. I mean, they sold. He sold, didn't he?
I don't know.
Seller.
I think he's still going. He
convinced Trump to speak at the conference. Yeah.
Pays for his own magazine, so things are going fine.
That was a fucking bad one. I mean, are you gassing this ETH short or no? Are you going hard?
I mean, it's a $200 billion asset, but like I do think if I look at this and I feel like I do the chess moves of what I think could happen next. MicroStrategy, I could just because of the position build up, it might have a little bounce. I think Bitcoin's hammering at this 59K level and will fall through it soon. But if Bitmine falls to 0.75 or 0.8 times MNAV, that one in some ways is worse. I really do. There's no bailout.
Also, yeah.
Who's the guy who's coming in to buy?
The ETH pump was so funny to 4K because everybody knew it was Tom Lee and everybody was getting the fuck out the way. Everybody was selling into that. If you had ETH,
I quite like Tom Lee as a guy. Like he's Cathie Wood of crypto, right? Like he's just unbelievably bullish. But you know that when the equity MNAV drops to 0.8, do you keep him as the CEO? Like, the guy's basically shot his shot. He said he would like be slow and steady about building up the ETH position.
He did it
He's
like
been
in a couple
buying.
months. Slammed it.
He's done. He's like 5% is done basically. He's the alchemy of 5% that he keeps talking.
I mean, that was
keeps
horrific
talking about.
execution. The whole thing, really. At least Saylor like dripped it out over a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I
guess it was more expensive, way more expensive.
he probably got caught up in the moment. You know, ETH was at 4K and at 5K, and it was like, oh my god, I was on that train. But then, yeah, it started to get a little bit bad, and then he was like, 4K is my line in the sand, 3K is my line in the sand.
You know, it was over when he started posting TA. It was like, I've never seen Saylor post a support.
Did he? I've never seen that. Incredible.
He posted this one. I'll find it for you. He's like, it was an email from like, my quants that said it's going to bounce here at 2150. At 2150, he buys like $1 billion, bounces. It's like,
bro who bought 5% of the asset classes hoping for a TA breakout. He's got blunts doing the ABC 1, 2, 3s.
The Elliott waves. Yeah. You know what's my favorite Tom Lee bit is we watch him. He goes on CNBC every day. And every time he goes, he was on last week. He's at 1600 and the guy intros Tom Lee and he says, Tom, when are you going to be wrong? Someday it's coming for you, but I just don't know when it's going to happen. When are you going to be wrong? I'm like, brother, when are you going to be wrong?
Yeah.
They just don't care about crypto. They don't even pay attention.
I don't CNBC. They love him. I mean, he obviously was right about Bitcoin very early on, but it's
was he? Is that how he got popular?
Yeah, he was like a very, I think he worked at Fidelity maybe, and then he went like independent, but he was like, remember Fidelity were very early to Bitcoin as well as like and he was like the driver behind it. So he definitely caught Bitcoin early, and obviously it was very popular in early Bitcoin days to just have like crazy price targets, and then I think he just kept them. So yeah, it's not.
So if your target for Saylor, they said it was at JP Morgan.
Okay.
If you're thinking 27, 28 when he's got to deal with these bonds, we're just stuck in no man's land for the next year in Bitcoin.
That's the worrying thing for me here.
Because I can't imagine the market lets it go up significantly without dealing with this problem.
If Bitcoin drops to 35, 40K, and really then the trigger comes when these bonds become puttable in 2027 and 2028, you're talking about like, I don't know why the market would let him out. Do you know what I mean?
That's just who's going to be the person to step in here and let him out?
Yeah.
He's in the back squealing right now.
And what about ETH if that happens as well? Like the DAT trade is going to go. This is the really bearish thing. The DAT trade is going to really get horrific, and it's not a FTX style blow up. It's
like
a
slow and like peel your fingernails off type of like slow.
Yeah, it's like having the blur offers. Just like they're just always there, you know, because if this DAT trade is trading at like 0.8, like they're just going to keep selling, and or there's going to be incentive to, and if Saylor needs 2 years actually to fully liquidate here, then it could be bad. So I honestly hope that Saylor goes to jail, because that will just be the moment. You know, that will be the SBF style, right? Done. You know, this is bad. If not, then Saylor has a huge amount of control here, huge amount of control, and can probably milk this thing for as long as he likes, particularly against MicroStrategy shareholders.
You know what's crazy is he doesn't say anything. He gives no comms.
Doesn't he?
He doesn't say anything. I feel like he doesn't like address any of the problems. He just posts AI videos. It's nuts.
Yeah, he's a very smart guy. This is the thing I didn't really understand about the whole thing. Like he went to MIT. He just, the maths that he did around this, like surely you just suddenly have to come up with $1.7 billion a year. Like we spoke about this yesterday. I was like, there's not that many companies that can do that.
Believe it. Yeah.
It's like
it's 100 companies in the world that make $1.7 billion a year profit.
Yeah, particularly in the US. I don't know, globally it's probably slightly higher, but like it's not easy to just come up with a company that does that. So, and you cannot sell your Bitcoin because that would cause the market to implode. So you just have to sell stock. So your company is basically selling stock to the tune of one of the most profitable companies in the world. And and that was just a really, really bad move, in my opinion.
Can you give me some execution sauce? Like when you're building this ETH short, like how you think about like pyramid, like adding to it? You have levels, like where are you out? Leverage, like how do you think, what's your time horizon? Like how are you thinking about it?
I don't often short things. I very rarely short things.
You're usually right when you do too.
But the MicroStrategy one felt just like, it just felt like a trade that I knew. I'm from that background of high on distress. Like as soon as I saw the top of the cap stack start to go, I was like, right, this is going to get decimated. The ETH one, I really just have it as like a beta versus some of the other things in my book. But
Got it.
I do think that thing
It's more
doesn't look
vibes.
good here. Yeah. I guess right now I'd be out if it went up to 1,800, which is a 10% move from here. But my gut is that if Saylor goes, there will be a lot of questions about all the DATs, and that'll be the next one.
Kyle Samani's left, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know whether Solana DATs trade as MNAV, but you got to assume that if Saylor goes, because Saylor was actually the highest MNAV out of everyone. If Saylor goes, then they will all go, and then we basically have all the buying that happened from the DATs over the last 2 years suddenly becomes the offer, and they're not liquidations. They are, it's just hanging there as the
just waiting.
Yeah. So
Kyle's in at 237 on Solana.
Yeah, man. The face work.
Dude,
we spoke about that last year.
is nuts.
Yeah.
How do you even get to 237?
Definitely was the highs. Man, it was a wild time, wasn't it? A year ago, it was a wild fucking time.
He's in at 237. We know Tom Lee and Saylor, and then there's the Hyperliquid one. There's Hyperliquid and Zcash. Winklevoss owned like 3% of Zcash, and then Hyperliquid one is they maybe picked the right coin.
Yeah, Hyperliquid, at least there is a bid for the L1 itself from the company. So like if they needed to buy it back at any point, they would maybe just buy it back from them. So I'm less worried about the Hyperliquid ones, but yeah, the ones where the L1 just has no buyer is bad. It's also like why I think so if you know, like all the FTX sales, they the majority, the big chunk at the start happened around this exact price on Solana. So it happened around 63, I think. We can go back and look at it.
Yeah.
And then Avaris happened, I think, at 90, and so the final one happened at like 110, but they all happened between 60 and 110. So this idea that Solana is just going to double here, for me, is just like laughable, because you just have
Solana hype
all of that. You have all of that, which is still vesting, by the way. Still vesting. When it started to move lower, I was like, it's going to go straight back to that first FTX sale and probably hang out there. But you got sellers, constant sellers from that
forever.
So I don't know why that really changes.
So what do you think about Mark? I mean, are we going to be stock men? I guess you've been, but am I going to be a stock bro for the next inevitable future here? Like, is this just? How do you think it's going to play out?
I am pretty bearish on this resolving itself. I don't really know how this resolves itself right now. And the really depressing bit about it is what we've just described. The most likely scenario is that this is just a slow bleed.
That's the worst part,
actually. And the DATs, in particular Saylor, kind of linger on in this, but offering supply. And in a market which has already been pretty bad for altcoins, this could get pretty grim. So I'm not bullish on cryptocurrency right now. I've been bullish on Near and I've been bullish on Hype as the trades, but like I think they're probably one of the two only altcoins that are up this year. I don't know if Near's up or like just up over the last few months, but
I can't even convince myself to buy that stuff anymore.
Hype has done a 2x maybe this year. Micron did a 2x in a month and a half. Like, you're buying the best of a bad asset class right now, and it's really
can't force
tough.
myself. I can't force myself to buy altcoins. Gold had a decent day.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
I bought more gold.
You have a lot of gold right now, don't you?
Well, no, I put it on at about 220, and then I cut a decent chunk of it at 120, 150, or something around that sort of level, and then I bought it some back at around 4K yesterday. And I really like this trade, but it does feel as though there's some sellers still of gold. But I am a buyer. I'm a big buyer of the whole inflation. The whole reason why Bitcoin should be why we want to own it. Like that fiat currencies are going to be massively debased. And I think
It's like a long hold for you.
Yeah, like I said to you at the time when I put it on, like it's a versus dollars trade for me, this one. Versus like stable. That's how I kind of think about gold. It's more like a currency, which and dollar's been going up obviously over this period as well. But for me, I think gold is on a multi-decade, multi-year uptrend, and you always try and catch bear traps in that trend. There was one a few years ago, and there's one right now, it feels like to me. So I think that the bottom is in the room with us right now, basically. These sound like really big numbers because it went from 4 to 20 to 4, but that's a 4% move. Like it's actually quite small.
Yeah, it is.
Versus like SpaceX. So I think it could probably drop to like 3,900, 3,800 even. But I think it's a trade that I think will hit all-time high by the end of the year. Maybe even in Q3, because I think also we're going to see inflation expectations are not as bad as people thought they were. Oil is just getting
you think a big part
hammered,
of it was
right?
oil?
Yeah, I think the Fed scared people the other day. I actually thought people read into it that they were going to look at different inflation data and rates may go higher. But I think that has slightly shifted maybe more recently with some of the inflation expectation prints and also just the way that rates are moving. So yeah, my view is that gold is that good debasement trade actually for the rest of the year, and I would just hold it versus dollars. But yeah, I think it goes to 5K plus. The other stuff I'm looking at, I liked actually Tulip. Shout out to Tulip King, the Eli Lilly trade he put out the other day.
I love the Eli Lilly thesis.
I've gone pretty big in that one, just because I think the AI trade is becoming a little bit more difficult now. You have the hyperscalers, everyone's getting more bearish on them because they're basically spending all their free cash flow. And the margin has suddenly gone towards all the supply chain chips, this, that, and the other. But then people are now getting to the stage where like they're questioning whether the hyperscalers should be giving all their margin to these guys. Interestingly, I know Apple had a bad day, but it's been one of the better performers out of the Mag 7, and it basically has not committed to the AI spend. And I think there's this question now, like the guys like Meta and Google and anyone that is basically committing to multi-year AI capex, their stock price is going lower right now, and that people notice that. They won't just be like, oh yeah, let's continue to say that. Like people are driven by their stock price, and if any of them were to say, hey, we're not going to commit to this, I think Microsoft's probably the first that may say that we're not going to play the AI game. I think they kind of, because they had such a bad experience with OpenAI, and they basically I think they're using like DeepSeek in Copilot at the moment. Like they have no idea what their AI strategy, and I think they've been pretty vocal about the fact they're not going to commit to this capex spend. And I think if you start to hear a little bit more around that maybe this isn't a 10-year trade, even just the whispers of it. I think although Micron had incredible earnings, I think SK Hynix is like an incredible trade, and I've been long career for a long time. I think it's crowded. It's cheap but crowded. So like that's why you get 20% moves, because everyone's in it. So just the whiff of we might recess our capex guidance for 2027 when it comes to AI.
Oh, we knew the memory names are going to get crushed.
No, I don't think they get crushed. Like they're good trades. I just think that like it's no longer a trade where
I see what you're saying. So like the hyperscalers that have these multi-year massive capex commits are getting hurt because they're committed. And then so if they see this and they back off of committing to 4, 5, 6 years of capex spend, the beneficiaries of that might teeter a little bit as well.
Teeter, I think they're probably still fine for the next 3 or 4 years. But remember that part of the reason everyone like loves these names is they massively increase margins. It's not just demand; they increase margins here.
But doesn't that mean the if Micron's margins are like disgusting, doesn't that mean the hyperscalers are getting they're just crushing the hyperscalers?
Right, but like look at the margin versus the long-term margin for memory, and you kind of get that this is not going to be. You can't value this at like 20 times earnings because this will not be the case for 20 years. The supply will increase. So it's not just the demand side; it's the margin side that really caused this to increase. So I think they should really be trading at single-digit multiples of forward earnings because that's probably how long they keep the margin. So I think they're really good trade. I think they've been really good trades. I think they are. You buy. It's like they're like hype. You buy them on the day where the liquidation candle takes them down like 5-10%.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to continue to outperform. But I also don't think that it's not as obvious a trade. I like these trades. I like the move towards robotics that we've slightly seen. I've liked the move towards like pharma and biopharma a little bit more. And I think Lilly's just in a really good spot. Like they've kind of, if you think about a company that will be allowed to create consumer pharmaceuticals, allowed is kind of an important term there. Like I think this is the issue that Hims had the other day. Like with AI meets health, I actually still think that there's going to be regulatory capture, and I think Eli Lilly has incredible amounts of private data, essentially, that no one else has, essentially. So, and they're very plugged into the AI research side of their business. So, I actually think Eli Lilly might be the big stock of this year. There was a take by Jordi Visser who said he thinks it's going to be the most valuable company in the world, which I kind of, and Jordi Visser's had some kind of out there takes more recently, but he has a very good podcast with Pomp. I don't know if you, it's worth listening to for Jordi Visser. Let me put it that way. He actually has some good takes, but he was like, yeah, I think Eli Lilly will be the most valuable company in the world. And then I read the piece by Tulip King, and I was like, you know what? Out of all the companies, I think is an interesting one as an alternative AI play here to just like supply chain, or it is this kind of shift towards products, people with private data sets that can actually create products that no one else is able to. So I'm pretty big in that one right now. And a couple of other things.
I like that thesis a lot. Hims is in a weird spot, I think.
Hims is a slightly different spot in that earnings were terrible. So you essentially are betting on the idea that they will be able to create, basically give people peptides and testosterone, and they may be able to, but it's
but so will everybody else. If Hims can, so can everybody else, right?
Well, they say, you know, we have this great subscription model and our branding means we can have a better markup. They basically, because what happened was a few months ago, Hims was trading at like 75, right? Yeah. But that was when they were allowed. They basically said, look, we're going to make our own peptides. And then Eli Lilly said, no, actually, you're not. We're going to sue you. And they basically said, okay.
Oh, I like the Lilly trade. I like that. I'm into that.
So then they said, okay, now we're going to distribute, and we're going to make better margin on the fact that we're going to make branded stuff, and we have this great subscription model. And Hims has got a great brand, so they may win on distribution. But my gut tells me that if I want to own anything, it's Eli Lilly. So yeah, I'm picking that.
OpenAI just said that they're probably not going to IPO this year.
Interesting. Well, if you looked on Polymarket or Kalshi, I forget which one, they were on track for December as like the most likely
December,
date.
And it was like 6:55. It's like 30 now.
Yeah. I mean, it was always going to be the next one, right? Suddenly we heard that Anthropic is free cash flow positive yesterday. They're gearing themselves up for their IPO.
They're getting ready for it, yeah.
And I think that will go well. I do think that's a good company. But yeah, SpaceX was not the top. Well, maybe it was the top.
Are you concerned?
Jury's still out.
Are you concerned, like post SpaceX, the hyperscalers, and all the mags being super weak. And then
I think it's very worrying.
riskier
I
and
think it's worrying.
riskier.
I think it's really worrying. I think if you look at
How defensive are you right now?
well, I'm short a fuck ton of ETH. So
That's true.
um,
Always the trade, shorty. Short Bitcoin.
well, I short MicroStrategy, and now I've moved a decent chunk of that into ETH. But so I feel fine. I sleep like a fucking baby, my friend. But I do think that there was that period, 2 or 3 months ago, where Nasdaq looked like it had a double top, and then there was just a face fucking melting stonks rally. But if you look at it, the Mag 7 didn't really participate
at all.
It was an interesting trade where actually it was all of the supply chain and chips which drove the whole of this move in the Nasdaq. And I was speaking to one of the other co-founders I have of Canary yesterday morning, and we were looking at it, and the Nasdaq does look like it put in another double top here.
It really looks like it did.
And you kind of go to yourself, well, what is that rotation? Because the rotation back in, bring up the daily, I forget which day it was, but like the rotation back in maybe February was like that. Like, oh, wow, we're going to see like we're going to move away from the Mag 7, and we're going to move heavily, or not move away from the Mag 7. The Mag 7 is not going to lead this. It's going to be led by all the chips and further down the AI supply chain. I don't know what does it this time, because like as I just said, Micron is Micron's a great company, but everyone fucking owns Micron now.
Kind of done the memory thing, right? SanDisk.
Right. So like, do you move even further down the supply chain here? Do you buy things like Nubius and Marvell and go like, but they seem even more levered to the same trade.
Yeah.
But they seem way more even levered to that same trade that I said, if any one of the Mag 7 says, hey, actually, we're like taking a step back here. That's not great. Because the Mag 7, they are aware of their own fucking stock price. So
it's actually that's actually a really good perspective, by the way. If they pull back CapEx spending, what happens?
Maybe they don't pull back, but like I reckon if one of them said, hey, we're not going to spend this much.
Yeah. They don't
like
commit as much.
I know Apple had a bad day, but like it has broadly outperformed because of that. Versus some of the others that have basically said, hey, we're not going to do that. And yeah, it's just like Amazon, Apple, they're all aware of their stock price. That they are all aware. Meta, even Google, which
I think they're watching behemoth, like, our ticks.
Oh, for sure. These guys are all getting like every executive's on like some insane stock plan as well. So like they are very aware of what is driving their stock price, and everyone, if with half a brain, will say, people are noticing what you're spending all your money on, and the revenue is not really increasing that much for some of the businesses. So maybe just don't spend that much money and just wait and see for a little bit, or don't commit 3 years worth of fucking memory with Micron, So that's the thing I think it could be a little bit of a worry. And just in that rotation, so we had the Mag 7, which basically dominated the whole of the Nasdaq trade for the last 5 years, into this double top, which then we moved down the supply chain into chips. And now you got to think like, what takes the Nasdaq from 29K to 35K? What's like the next move? And I don't know what it is. Like, I thought maybe it would be like the robotics trade, but there's not enough there. And like Tesla's probably the biggest market cap there, and Tesla doesn't look that great because of SpaceX.
Doesn't look good at all.
And then it's like, what? Like, it's it was funny. We started talking at SaaS. We were like, is SaaS gonna have a fucking rebound? Like, is Salesforce a fucking buy here at
the chat that's saying robotics, but like I don't think we're ready for that.
It's not a big enough part of the
Nasdaq
Nasdaq
to buy.
Yeah, it's just not a big enough bit of the index. Is what I'm talking about. Like, what takes the index to 35K? It's just not big enough. Like what basically happened is a bunch of $100 to $200 billion companies became $1 trillion companies. And I don't know what that is right now at the Nasdaq. So I actually think that this double top looks way more precarious actually than the one in February, even though that may be, never fucking stonks just go fucking high. Maybe we just go high and Micron goes to fucking 3K.
It's a reasonable take though. Yeah.
but it does worry me a little bit more that this one is a bit more precarious, and obviously you got the dollar rising, and just let's see what happens. But if I was to buy one thing, Eli Lilly. I like the move to more functional AI products being made, and I think that they've got a really good shot.
I like the Eli Lilly. Okay, give me a last one. Google. I know you kind of already talked about the hyperscalers, but Google specifically was one of your favorites.
Well, they basically issued $80 billion of stock at 350 and anchored the price there, in my opinion. Google has got an incredible business. If you look at the business, like they have the whole cloud infrastructure, which is going insane right now. They have obviously search, they have ads, they have products, Android. Like Google is not just AI, but they basically said we're going to spend all of our, or a large amount of our free cash flow on AI capex. Now, Google is less dependent on others. A lot of people are dependent on Google. You have to remember this. So Google makes its own chips, it makes TPUs, and Google also owns a lot of the AI labs. Like it owns 15% of Anthropic. It is a beast. Google, in my opinion, just own it forever. But yeah, it's probably a period of time here where Google is not going to be the best performing because it's going to be punished with the other companies that are going to be spending the AI capex. And also Gemini as a model slightly dropped, and they've been losing some AI. You have to remember that everyone from AI Labs essentially came from Google. Dario came from Google. All of the original OpenAI team came from Google.
Google before.
Like these, they basically decide. I mean, I think what happened was Elon Musk and Sam Altman basically went to Google, went to all the Google engineers and said, you know, we should create OpenAI because all you super smart Google people are basically just making ads with AI. Let's make OpenAI. Let's make it open. And that's how OpenAI formed. And then similarly, Anthropic, the original team, is also from Google. So like Google is the daddy of all of AI, essentially, from DeepMind, and obviously I'm a big fan of still their AI team. Like I still think they've got some exceptionally talented people, but it's clear that they are losing some of the brain drain here. And ahead of like the Anthropic IPO and potentially OpenAI IPO, if somebody offers you like $100 million of Anthropic stock right now to go join ahead of the IPO, you're probably going like, maybe.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a.
So I think they're losing some people, but I wouldn't. Demis Hassibis, who kind of runs the Google AI team, is just an absolute fucking genius, and I would, as long as he's still there, Google's gonna do fine.
He's a huge bio guy too, right? He's Nobel Peace in protein folding or something.
Yeah, so they have DeepMind, which is again the original AI lab, which again is a really good acquired podcast on Google.
Oh, really?
Where you get to hear like the story of like, it's like 4 parts, and the 4th part is like the whole of their AI journey. And it's worth listening to because a lot of it's now relevant. But yeah, he created DeepMind, and then DeepMind was bought by Google, and DeepMind essentially was like a research lab, and they basically did protein folding, and then he got the Nobel Prize. But then they've done tons of other stuff.
I like that. Mando, I wish you had more optimistic crypto takes for us, but this is where we're at.
Yeah.
This is where we're at, man. You have a good dude. You're underrated, man. You're tapped. You're fucking tapped in. I don't know how you do it. You were really tapped. I think I'm tapped. You were really tapped. This was a proper session we just put in.
Yeah, we went over a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's good for your
for the show.
Your bi-weekly tapping.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
last one. I'll let you go. Korean stocks, they want to know. What do you think?
I'm a multi-generational Korea buyer here, man. I think they are gonna everything about it, I think, is going higher. Buy every dip on Korea, in my opinion. Memory is a great trade, but they up and down all the like industries that they have, and then you have to remember you're buying that index at such a low PE ratio, not just for memory, but across every name. And they've basically come out and said, we're going to change how we distribute profits. And I think it's a massive buying opportunity. It was like Korean stocks are trading at a lower EV than Chinese stocks, which tells you something, because Chinese stocks, you do not buy them for the dividends or the buybacks. So I think it's, buy that for your 401k.
Multi-generational is nuts.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it. Mando, you're the GOAT, dude. I'll see you in our little Telegram chat.
Yeah. See you soon, man.
Cool,
All the
brother.
best.
Have a good one. Boosh. That's my GOAT. I'm trying to tell you all. I try to label him the best trader in CT, and everyone called me retarded. So I don't say that anymore. Everyone called me crazy. What movie's on the screen in the back? The Truman Show? I think it's The Truman Show. That's a hell of a movie. That's a hell of a fucking movie. So I think that was a awesome interview with Mando. Here's the problem. Polymarket. Let's see. Polymarket has us pricing in like below 50K. Polymarket's pricing in Bitcoin below 50K by the end of the year. And the problem is every person that has ever bought Bitcoin through an ETF, the stock market, is down. Anyone who ever bought through a DAT is down. Anyone who ever bought an ETF is down. And so all of the mainstream retail liquidity that we pulled forward to get into 126K ATH of Bitcoin in October 25 are down. Most of them are down a lot. And so it is ETFs for 38K. Is that true? Is that true? I believe it was like 58K. Let me pause that clip that I'm farming. And what was the first price of Bitcoin ETF? I might be wrong, but I don't think I'm that wrong. No. $46,000. So Polymarket's pricing Bitcoin is going to go below 50K. Everyone that's ever actually purchased from an ETF was in at 46,000. And so for the most part, all of the liquidity we pulled forward to make an ATH at 126K in October is down, and down a lot, especially if you're buying through these DAT vehicles. They are down a lot. And so we land here with the worst sentiment maybe ever. Everyone in retail just completely burned, and 5% of the supply overhang with Michael Saylor and strategy. And the thing Mando said that I think is the worst as it relates to Bitcoin and strategy specifically is we're not waiting for this FTX level where FTT breaks below $22 and the whole thing blows up. This is a slow drip, boring, choppy pain. Saylor's in full control and doesn't really have to do anything until 2027, 2028. And so I don't know. I've been saying this for a while and I'll continue to say it, is that it's just fundamentally uninteresting as an asset right now. While you have this AI trade on, the hyperscalers, the memory trade, bio, it just remains fundamentally uninteresting as it relates to Bitcoin. It just is. But a positive note, sorry for the movie in the background, is that there's a lot of stuff to trade, and we are in the middle of a pretty crazy bull market. And if there's one thing that we've done, and if there's one thing that we've done well, is maybe we're a little bit late, but we fucking identified an opportunity. We identified a difficult spot that we were in, and we got the fuck out of the way. We got the fuck out of the way, and we've done everything in our power to figure out what to do in the other markets. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I think we've done a damn good job. I'm damn proud of what we've done over the last couple months. This is pissing me off. I'm damn proud of it, guys. I had never bought a stock in my life until like 3 months ago. Never, not one. I mean, when I was like 17, I did. I've never bought a stock in my life for a couple months ago. And now here we are talking about fucking hyperscalers and capbacks. And I didn't know how to say capbacks the first time on stream. I called it capex. Malcolm called me a bad word, the R word. I'm not allowed to use the R word anymore on stream. Did you make more than you made on crypto and stocks? No. I made a lot of money in crypto, dude. Trading. But I'm well on the way. But I also had 5 years versus like 3 months, 6 months. So a little bit of a time discrepancy there. I'm definitely have not made more, but you know, I don't know. Everyone said what they said and did what they did, but at the end of the day, we're here and we're locked in. And why can't you use the retarded word? I can't use it because we're institutional now. We're institutional. And ladies and gentlemen, we are setting ourselves up for major success. So I don't know. Thank you all so much for supporting. I will be back tomorrow. 2:40 p.m. EST every day and every day forever. I will catch you when I catch you. I'll see you on the show. Have a great rest of your day. Peace. I'm gonna send the pit. No, I'm not. Psych. Peace.